Hello, and welcome to episode 28 of the IP3 podcast. I'm Kevin, joined today just by Alex. Well, not just by, but joined today by Alex. Uh, Rhea is busy with some life stuff, so will not be joining for this edition of Unlimited Power. Um, but before we get into definitely breaking our time record for fastest limited set review that we've done, uh, which between one less person talking and not going through each individual Majestic card in the set, we're going to save a lot of time probably. But we do have some other news and things that have happened since we last put out an episode.
A
First
lot of
things
things have
first.
happened.
Yeah, actually, yeah, like quite a few things. So we obviously got the hunted set. So there's a bunch of spoilers and things that we missed. Obviously, we'll go through most of those cards here in a sec. Um, the BNR. We got an unexpected BNR announcement. It only affects CC. Zephyr Needle is banned. Thankfully, they did it to keep calling Memphis from being a cesspool of infinite Zephyr Needle Ira mirror matches forever. Um, there's a new mechanic in the hunted, and there's a card called Upstick. Was it Upsticks and Run?
Run.
Yeah,
Yep.
that lets you recur dagger weapons from your graveyard, so you can swing Zephyr Needles like 3 times in a turn. And turns out when that card is recurable, it's way too good. So thankfully, LSS and Brago spared us from that calling debacle. Uh, and you don't need to think about Zephyr Needle in Classic Constructed ever again. Um, Probably only a matter of time before it gets hit in Blitz too, but um,
Well, Ira's like out of Blitz now, right? Did she
uh,
live in Legend?
yeah, I think she's gone. But I mean the deck itself still just exists.
Sure,
Lose the
sure,
one
sure.
pointer that she gives you, but any other ninja could do it. And actually, like maybe it's really gross with Benji too or something. I don't know. It could be.
Yep.
Uh, but yeah, Zephyr Needle's gone. So no worries there. Calling Memphis is going to be dope. It is this weekend. Uh, Casted by Sam O'Byrne, Ellie Bird, and uh, Nathan Crawford, which is going to be a really sweet trio to watch cast these callings. Um, so it's actually a dual calling event. There are 2 callings back to back. The first one is a CC calling, and that's going to be Friday, Saturday. That is where, or at least their coverage is covering that one first, and then I would assume they're covering the Sunday portion. They're not. They're not
I don't
doing.
believe so.
Oh, that's
I believe they're just covering the
peculiar.
constructed. I heard that it was because the last set, the very first CC calling that they did, had their most viewership on any Flesh and Blood like coverage event ever. So like, all right, we're gonna keep doing that because people want to watch the new format of CC. So
Yeah, no, I mean it makes sense. I would. Hmm, I wonder if they'll cover like the battle hardened then too or something, or if they'll just do the first 2 days and then let it go. But I don't know. Like historic. It's not surprising. Historically, CC has done dramatically better on viewership than limited. Um, I think it's just more viewer friendly in general. Uh, and we, it's been known that Flesh and Blood Limited has been working to catch up to its CC counterpart in terms of uh, playability and replayability. And that said, I do think it is weird, or the unfortunate side effect of people want to watch Constructed more is them doing the CC calling first is just like ever so slightly harder on card acquisition for the weekend, right? Because technically, no, unless you got the cards from your pre-release, no non-store individuals should have their product otherwise, like as of yet, right? And
right.
the first CC calling is on the first day that you can legally uh,
The cards from the
obtain
set.
those cards.
So
And
so if they did the limited calling first, it would give people a chance to open cool stuff and then go over to the vendors and sell it, and then the vendors can then sell it to the people trying to build their construction decks for a Saturday Sunday event.
yeah, and just more time like with the vendors. I do know that I think the event hall opened for a few hours tonight, which is good. That alleviates some of the, well, 400 or 500
Scramble
people
Friday morning.
need to all go up and get their orders filled and everything. And I know several of the vendors did more pre-orders than usual, and I saw that MinMax set aside a big swath of cards to make sure that they had um, certain singles on hand for this weekend, which was really great. But it's just like an extra added stress that is not cool. But I don't know. Like I I wish they would switch it and then fine, don't cover the limited calling on Friday and just do the CC one whenever that starts. But uh, oh well, doesn't really matter. Um, hopefully they will use this first doubleheader calling experience and improve. They have done with virtually everything else. Um, we got some more dates for certain events. This one, I will forewarn you, this is purely speculative based upon, I believe, the existence of a hotel block at the Westgate in Vegas. But I think US Nats is at least tentatively looks like it's going to be scheduled on as a weekend slash day zero tournament for whatever the next set is. Um, I think it was June
June 6th,
6th through the
8th,
8th.
I
Um,
think.
yeah. Seems like they'll be doing the Westgate again, Vegas again, which uh, I like, but my wallet doesn't love. Uh, that said, it was kind of sweet last time, so if it ain't broke, fix it. But also, if Cleveland could add some direct flights to Vegas for cheap, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
Pro Tour APAC, which I don't remember where this came from, but like the rumor that I heard floating around the rumor mill, is potentially Singapore for the APAC Pro Tour. The weekend, it's July 17th through July 20th. And then Worlds, which we know is in the USA, is November 13th through the 16th. So start finalizing your travel plans. And by finalizing, I mean, considering making them. But
I don't
nice to
think we've
know
heard any.
dates ahead of
I don't
time.
think. Yes, it was very nice. My wife has been bothering me because uh, my wife and I are turning the Pro Tour APAC into a vacation this summer. So she's been bothering me like, when are we going? Where are we going? I don't know yet. At least I now have half of her answer.
Yeah. I don't know if I want APAC to happen. I don't know money wise and also 7-month old child wise if it's really gonna happen and or be advisable. So playing that one by ear. Um, but yeah, so big life changes. Uh, I have a 1-month old baby boy at home now, which is pretty cool. Um, his name is Florian. I have receipts that this name was on the list prior to the spoiling of Florian at Nats last year, I think. Uh, so happy accident. Felt like a thumbs up from the Fab universe on name idea, but it was on the list before the hero.
I,
So
I was
don't
sitting
ask.
next. I was sitting next to you during the hero reveal. I wish I would have been looking at you instead of the screen to see your reaction when they revealed the name.
uh, yep. But he's happy and healthy, and we wasted no time after the last recording, right? Like the last time we had an episode was we recorded Monday night, and then I had like we had our Eclipse team award ceremony one night, and I had like my last D&D session for a while, like sort of wrapping everything up, putting a bow on it before I knew, I was taking vacation for the holidays, and then I just knew at some point I would switch over to parental leave. So the universe is like, haha, you thought you would have like, at least this weekend after work and everything, like a couple days to like finish cleaning your house, finish prepping everything, and nope. Labor started on that Friday, and we went into the hospital on Saturday and had a baby on Sunday. So, uh, yeah, best laid plans. The universe just kind of laughs at them, but uh, everyone's happy and healthy, doing well. So, hopefully, so far so good. Florian's not damping my style too much on playing these
Not making
games,
too many
but
rain chants.
not yet. Uh, in a few months he'll make more, but gotta wait.
Mm.
Uh, but yeah, no. Eventually, I'm assuming it's inevitable that at some point there will be an IP3 episode where there's just a baby and a baby Bjorn on my chest. We just record with a sleeping baby in here. But uh, yeah, so that's my big fun life update. Uh, and last but not least, in 2025, I'm officially going to begin my campaign to get Warmonger's Diplomacy removed from CC, or have it get some friends like spit out into the game for it, right? Not because Warmongers is too good, but because it's not fun. That's it. That's the whole soapbox. Um, Either Warmongers needs some friends that like punish you for not doing a mix of attacks and non-attacks, right? Like, give me something that like stops ninjas from making 8 chain link wide combat chains, or stops guardians from swinging for a number that's in the double digits. Why is there just a turn off Viscerai button? Let me swing my Nebula Blade.
And it's a blue. And it's a black 3.
And
And
it's a
it's
blue,
generic.
and it's a block 3. Yeah. So either Warmongers needs to like be just the first edition of that, and then print some other equally powerful hate cards that honestly, the point of the equally powerful hate cards is just to piss off everybody else enough that it's like, not really piss them off, but if everybody's like, wow, this really unfun for this card to just turn off what I'm trying to do entirely with no counterplay to it, or with very limited counterplay to it, uh, if everybody had one of those, I think they would just all agree like this game would just be more fun without any of these cards. So, uh, Warmongers, please leave CC before 2026. That is my ask to LSS.
Also, you deck builders out there, there's way too many of you putting that card in your deck when you should not be. So just
Also that.
just evaluate, like, is this card bad for me and my deck? I've seen quite a few decks. It's like, you do not want to be playing this card, so I don't know why it's in your deck. But
Yeah, just want it's like it's been so ubiquitous. It's just like almost a deck building crutch. Oh, I need blue block threes. Great. Start with Warmongers and go from there.
all right, now that we're 15 minutes in, do you want to start our?
Yeah, for sure. This was the time handicap that we needed because we're not talking about the
Sure, sure, sure,
Majestics.
sure, sure.
Um, but yeah. No, my Warmongers rant actually stems from the existence of Dowson Runeblood being really dope, making me want to play Nebula Blade, and then me being sad that MST is still around and still just kind of most largely polices the format, and all the MST heroes just jam 3 Warmongers because they're blue dot deck. I'm like, oh, okay, well, guess I won't play my sweet new Majestic that is a Runeblade Chase the Tail 1 for 7 with Go Again card. Rip. Rip fun. Uh, but alright, 20 minutes in. Heroes and weapons of the hunted. Uh, as you can see on the screen, we've got uh, Arachne, Web of Deceit. Um, that is set. We've also got Fang and Syndra, which we've did those spoilers before. Um, All of them have 4 int, 20 health, um, and Arachne Web of Deceit reads, your attacks with stealth that are attacking a marked hero get +1, and when this hits, this gets go again. At the beginning of your end phase, if an opponent is marked, you become a random agent of chaos. Uh,
What does that mean, Kevin?
it means a lot of things, but first, your attacks with stealth that are attacking a marked hero get +1, and when this hits, this gets go again. So marked is a condition, a tag that exists in the set. It's just like an arbitrary label, kind of like stealth. Hey, oh yes, we got some custom Team Eclipse Mark Morrison marked tokens that are super dope. But basically, it's literally a label. If you are marked until somebody hits you, and then you are no longer marked. And that's kind of the whole ball game. So while you're marked, there are some cards that care if you are marked or not and do extra things for you. In this case, if you're attacking a marked hero, your stealth attack gets +1, and on hit, it gets go again. So all those random 0 for 3 stealth attacks that are out there. Um,
Are now 0 for 4 on hit go again.
uh huh, uh huh.
Quite good.
Pretty good, pretty good. Um, and that part is pretty straightforward. What is less straightforward is the 6 agents of chaos that you can become as Arachne. Uh, so at the end of the turn, if you don't hit them, right, when they're marked, they're incentivized to block you so that uh, they don't take damage. But if they block you out, you transform into one of these agents because they'll end the turn still marked. So you roll a d6, and depending on your result, you get one of these crazy options. The first of which is Arachne Black Widow. And your health stays the same when you transform. That it persists the same, which is you know the only possible thing that makes sense. But yeah, Arachne Black Widow reads once per turn attack reaction. Discard an assassin card. Target assassin attack gets +3. If it has stealth, it gets when this hits a hero, they banish a card from their hand. Uh, so turning any old assassin card from your hand into a +3 on hit pummel ish effect is pretty strong. I think this is definitely one of the stronger options of the bunch, and especially like in constructed, there's already a bunch of on hit discard or on hit, look at your hand, take a card, and this is just sort of when it rains, it pours in that regard. Uh, but in for limited purposes, I just think this is a really good one because taking taking free cards away from your opponent at reaction speed
Yeah.
is very strong. And
We
if
all
your
we all
opponent,
know that we all know that like banishing cards from Arsenal is very good, but sometimes they don't have Arsenal. They always have cards in hand.
yep,
So,
and if they're like, oh well, I don't have a turn if you react and take an extra card from me, so they overblock it, and you just say, okay, you just dumpstered a card or two unnecessarily, and I'll arsenal this and pass instead. So, a lot of play to it. It's just generically powerful. Um, and at the beginning of your end phase, return to the brood. Return to the brood means revert back to Arachne Web of Deceit. Um, you always, I believe they all of the 6 variants, they all say revert at the end of the turn.
yes.
Or
So
excuse me, return to brood.
even if if you are Arachne Black Widow and your opponent is still marked at the end of your turn, you still revert back to Arachne Web of Deceit and you don't roll again. You only roll if you are Arachne Web of Deceit during that turn and they end the turn marked.
Yep. Um, all right. Option 2, Arachne Funnel Web. This reads exactly the same as Arachne Black Widow, except instead of on hit, stealth card. Instead of buffing a stealth card and letting that banish card from hand, it instead is going to banish from arsenal. Um, so
Notably, it the attack reaction says target assassin attack gets +3, and then if it has stealth, then you get the extra banish from arsenal / hand. So if you need to, you can react on a dagger
yep,
because that's still an assassin attack.
yeah, really good flexibility there, and then just helps all of your hands look more modular, right? If you're just like, okay, cool, any of these cards can just be a +3 at reaction speed. That's really pretty strong to have access to. But yeah, Funnel Web a little worse than Black Widow just because there's not always an arsenal. Um, Next up, we have Arachne Orb Weaver. This one requires a look into one of the additional token weapons of the set, but Arachne Orb Weaver reads Graphene Chelicerae cost you 1 resource less to activate. Uh, Once per turn instant, discard an assassin card, equip a Graphene Chelicera token. Your next
I will be
attack.
calling it graphing calculator during this. Um,
Yeah, mine
yeah.
mine is Graphite Chilaquiles. Your next attack. Oh yeah, so discard an assassin card, equip a Graphene Chelicera token. Your next attack with stealth this turn gets +3. So um, the base weapon for assassin in the set is called Mark of the Huntsman. Here. That is an assassin, one-handed dagger, 1 power, cost 2 to attack, has go again. It says when this hits a hero, you may choose to destroy this and mark them. If this is attacking a marked hero, this gets +1. So if you're attacking a hero that's already marked, it's coming in for 2 damage. If you hit them, you can destroy the dagger to mark them, um, which should also work if you, I believe, should also work if you flick Mark of the Huntsman via some of the other card effects in the set, or even an equipment card in the set. So you have access to a few extra ways to mark opposing heroes. But because you have to destroy on hit, or to mark with Mark of the Huntsman, you have to destroy it when you hit them. So you're left a bit empty-handed. That is where this Graphene Chelicera comes in. That is an assassin token dagger, also one-handed. It's a 1 power, 1 cost to attack weapon. It is a dagger with stealth. Is notable for a few different card effects in the set. And then it also has when this attacks a marked hero, the attack gets go again. So this is very, very powerful in the latest stages of the game, right? Both players are down at 1, 2, 3 life, um, and if you manage to mark them when they're at 1 life, suddenly this is a Kadachi that is going to have go again until the game ends, unless somebody gains life or does something to get rid of it.
And it has stealth and it is an assassin attack, so all of your various reactions can all hit this dagger in that late game scenario.
Yep, yep. There's one of the majestics in the set. I believe it's Tarantula Toxin is actually kind of a wombo combo with this card for that exact reason, because it is both an assassin attack or a dagger attack and an attack with stealth. Um, Obviously, it's majestic, so not going to come up a ton, but when it comes up, it is going to freaking hurt. Um, so, Arachne Orb Weaver, back to them. Uh, so, when you are the Orb Weaver, those graphene attacks cost 1 less to activate. If the opposing hero is already marked, that means you're coming in for 1 with go again for no cost. And the interesting part of this one is it's not an attack reaction; it's just an instant ability, but it buffs the buffs the next stealth attack +3 as like a front buff.
which could be a stealth attack card, or it could just be the dagger that you just equipped because it has stealth.
Yep, yep. Um, yeah, so this one, your mileage may vary. This is definitely better. Oh, so okay, so this is basically useless unless you have already flicked a dagger for some kind of value at some point. That said, given what a lot of the cards in the set look like, pretty reasonable to assume that you're going to be flicking some daggers in a game. So, um, time dependent, this can be very good. Uh, but it's certainly not like you don't want to turn into this on the first turn of the game. It's kind of largely useless to you. Option number 4, we have Arachne Redback. Once per turn attack reaction, discard an assassin card. Target assassin attack gets +3. If it has stealth, it gets go again. Um, so turning any assassin card in your hand into a razor reflex for a 0 cost razor reflex for a stealth attack is good. Actually, it's even better than that because it doesn't have to hit to get the go again. It just has to
I
have
think
stealth.
I think in limited, I think this is the most powerful one. Um, Banishing from hand on hit is good, but they can overblock to get around that or de-react and not let it hit. This one just gives +3, and then it also just gets go again, which Arachne a lot of the times is doing a dance where, okay, I need to mark you for all my effects to be on, and I need to hit you, but I need both of those things because hitting you removes the mark. So then I have to find another way to mark you to get all my effects and stuff. So this just letting you um, come in for a like stealth card for 3, bump it up to 6, give it go again, and then maybe end your turn with the dagger to threaten the mark at the end of the turn, or something else to mark them. Um, Very good.
Yeah, definitely on the better end, if not the best. Uh, Option number 5, which actually this was used against me to great effect in one of my uh, re-release games that I got to play. But we have Arachne Tarantula, which says whenever a dagger you own hits a hero, they lose a life. Once per turn attack reaction, discard an assassin card, target dagger attack gets +3. So the reaction on this one is the least impressive of the bunch, still just giving it a +3. Oh, actually, excuse me. It is by far the least impressive of the bunch because it uh,
Daggers.
only targets daggers. But if you are working with a couple solid daggers, it's threatening like 5 damage out of this overall effect. Um, 2 from threatening the static ability of an extra life lost per dagger hit, and then just +3 to get over to connect. So it's really, assuming when you activate this attack reaction, your damage connects, you're really getting a +4. Um, that said, it's a little less flexible overall. Um, but fine, but not spectacular. Still not quite on Black Widow or Redback's level, in my opinion.
It turns good when you get the attack or the stuff that flicks the daggers, so that your opponent doesn't
Mm-hmm.
get to interact with them hitting. It's just, all right, here's a dagger. It's going to deal damage to you. It's going to mark you, and then also tarantula, so you'll lose a life as well.
Right. Um, all right, and last but not least, maybe least, Arachne Trapdoor. When you become this, you may search your deck for a card, banish it face down, then shuffle. If it's a trap, you may play it until the start of your next turn. At the beginning of your end phase, return to the brood. This one can look very strong. It effectively, if assuming you have D-reacts in the deck, or excuse me, if you have traps in the deck, um, several of which are. I'm trying to. How many traps are in the set? Is it all the assassin ones? Are
There's
traps?
a uh, there are assassin, ninja, and assassin warrior traps, and then also a majestic. That's an assassin instant trap,
Okay,
not a D-react.
gotcha. Okay, so you've got a few options, but not a ton. But the card advantage of this is undeniable. But one thing that we have a list of notes from Rhea about the set with her thoughts on things. If Arachne Trapdoor is going to banish a card face down, you know, sometimes you don't really have a better play, and at the end, the answer is, you still just have to. If you held a lot of cards, you still have to throw out your offense. That said, if it's a grindier type game and you don't have an arsenal already, and your damage output is not going to look hugely impressive, you can just pass and arsenal and let them have burnt a card from deck for nothing. I think the reaction heaviness of this format, I think, leads to it generally not coming down to like full fatigue as much as, um, let's say outsiders or even I just blanked on it. What was the what was
Rosetta?
the first set? What? No, not Rosetta. Although that's a bad, yeah, Rosetta's a better example. I was trying to think of what set was KO in. Why can't I think of heavy hitters?
Heavy
There
hitters?
we go. Yeah, just uh, I don't sleep as much as I used to, so I already had trouble recalling card names on occasion. It's only gonna get worse. So
The
buckle
upside
up.
to the upside to Arachne Trapdoor is drawing a card. So you basically have 5 intellect. If you can't use that card on defense, then on your offensive turn, he doesn't, or the Trapdoor version doesn't have a discard a card instant or reaction +3. So it's very possible that Arachne Trapdoor on the offensive side is just here's a stealth card for 3 because my hand doesn't really do anything else. Very possible yeah, you can just strand them with 5 cards. Because you didn't do anything, you took a setup turn. Um, and then they will revert back to Web of Deceit the following turn and not be able to play that trap that they then got if you don't attack them. All
Um,
right. Those are all the Arachnes.
yeah, that's all 6. Uh, so there is a sub theme in this set of flicking your daggers at your opponent's head for value. Um, there are several different cards that do that. There are a few cards that mess around with the graphing chilaquiles, as previously discussed. So like there's ways to replace lost weapons for both assassin and ninja in the set. Um, but aside from that, assassin has a lot of a lot of stealth cards and a lot of stealth synergies, exactly like you'd expect. Um, Next up, we have ninja, coming in the form of the Royal Draconic Ninja hero Syndra. Syndra's text is whenever you hit a marked hero, create a fealty token. And then once per turn, instant, pay 3 resources. Equip up to 2 Draconic daggers from your graveyard. This costs 1 resource less to activate for each Draconic chain link you control. So the templating pretty similar to Fi's with his Phoenix Flame recursion, as far as rewarding you for having many Draconic chain links. Um, there's a lot of power in Syndra with the fact that Syndra really only needs cards that mark the opposing hero, and then when she inevitably hits with her flurry of many attacks for 1, uh, that will let her accrue some fealty tokens, and she has the ninja cards for the Draconic Ninja have a lot of synergy where it's like either they care about the previous attack having been Draconic or having two or more Draconic chain links, or certain cards care if if it's a ninja card, but it's like if this is Draconic, I also do this other cool effect. So um, those fealty tokens unlock uh, a lot of those class synergies for you. And we were right when we talked about it. Fealty templating is as you would expect. It functions in a very sane way. Um, Syndra's weapons are the kunai of retribution. Draconic ninja weapon, one-handed dagger, base power of 1. Once per turn action, pay 1. Destroy this when the combat chain closes. That is part of the cost of the attack. And then for that cost, you attack with go again. So pay 1, 1 go again, dagger scraps itself at the end of that combat chain. Um, so these kunai retribution with Syndra's hero ability, um, you're looking at a attack for one, do another thing that's draconic in the turn, zero cost, recoup your kunai for the next turn, sort of.
You cannot do that actually, because the uh, kunai only are destroyed when the combat chain closes, and then at that point, once the combat chain is closed, Syndra, her ability is it costs 1 less to activate for each draconic link you control. So if you break the chain to put the kunai in the graveyard, you'll then have to pay 3. So the dance of Syndra is, all right, I'm gonna attack with 1 kunai this turn, play my other cards, close the combat chain, it'll end. Now I've got 1 sitting in the graveyard, 1 sitting in my hand. Next turn I will attack for 1, attack with my other draconic things to get those chain links, activate Syndra to get back my 1 kunai from last turn, and rinse and repeat. And you're kind of dancing with like 1 and cycling in and out. And but the power is there are all the flick effects that we were talking about with Assassin. A lot of the Ninja slash Assassin cards um, are also doing that. You can uh, attack with one of your kunai, and then while the attack is still on the chain, your next attack then flicks that dagger that you control to put it into the graveyard. The chain link is still there, but now the kunai is in the discard pile. So now you can activate Cinder like you want to and throw them both back in at the same time.
My lack of pre-releasing is showing. I have played no Syndra.
No, that's good
Oops.
because I needed to figure out a way to bring that up because that I watched a lot of
Well, you're
people
welcome. That's what.
do that. Yeah, it's an interesting dance, just like Arachne is trying to mark you, but then also hit you, but it wants you to stay marked.
Yeah.
Syndra is I I need to attack with these to get them out of graveyard, but if I close the chain, then to get them in the graveyard, then I have to pay more resources to get them back out. So I got to do a little bit of both, or wait for those flick effects that keep the chain links but put them in the discard pile.
All right. So that is the dirty on Syndra. Last but not least, our 3 new heroes. We have Fang, the Royal Draconic Warrior. Fang's abilities are: whenever you hit a marked hero, create a fealty token. If you control 3 or more fealty tokens, dagger attacks cost you 1 less resource to activate. Pretty straightforward on this front. Obviously, you want to hit that critical threshold of 3 fealty tokens, and then hover around there using the spare fealty tokens to make more things draconic to uh, keep the damage pouring in. Fang's weapon or weapons are the Obsidian Fire Veins, which are Draconic Warrior one-handed daggers. They have base power of 1. Once per turn action, pay a resource, attack. If you've played a Draconic card this chain link, this attack gets +1 and go again. Uh, so honestly, the daggers themselves are where there's a lot to unpack with how you want to approach playing Fang. So you want to have played Draconic cards this chain link. That means you can't like Draconic non-attack action pre-buff this dagger to give it go again. Um, you need to be doing something in reactions, either reaction or instant speed during the Fire Veins chain link, and that will get you the +1 power buff and the go again. Uh, Zero cost draconic instants and reactions, sort of get extra juice for Fang, because particularly once you are at that 3 fealty threshold, is if you have 3 fealty, Fang says, great, your dagger attacks are free to activate. If you're you let's say you block 9-ish or whatever on the previous turn, and you keep 1 card in hand, swing your Fire Vein, react with a 0 cost draconic reaction from hand, which pumps the power, probably pumps the power to 4, 5, or 6, depending on which reaction we're talking about, and gives you go again and gets you to that second dagger swing for free.
Yep. Once Fang is online with 3 fealty tokens, I just equate it to having an extra intellect because you now don't need to pitch. Um, you've got enough 0 cost reactions that you should probably just be blocking with anything that isn't free, which then allows you to block more damage. I'm not sure. Once Fang has 3 fealty, I'm not sure if there's any deck in the game that has better 2-card hands than Fang.
Which is kind of crazy to say.
Yeah.
Uh, get your warrior boots before it's too late.
Luckily, they
It's
reprinted them.
Yeah, it's free real
Right.
estate.
Yeah. Also, Monarch boxes are cheap, so you can
True, true, true,
get
true.
those. All right. Got the heroes and the weapons down. Get
Uh,
into the meat and potatoes.
yes, indeed. So we're gonna go through in set number order, just because it's easier going through the galleries that way. And shout out to the awesome folks working on Fabrary for the really cool card overlay, especially with the new feature that I loved with Rosetta and I love even more this time around. That lets me just click through the gallery in order to find all these cards instead of typing them in every time. Gotta appreciate the little things. Uh, all right.
We're not gonna go through all the majestics, but we'll point out which ones we think are notable. If you open these, like, you should definitely think about picking them up.
Hmm.
Uh,
So our first majestic bomb, and the only one we have. I mean, most of the majestics are still going to be playable cards for you, but noteworthy, like really powerful ones we called out. Fortunately, I don't think there's a. I don't. All right. Hopefully, this claim is proved to be correct, but I don't see a Germinate or a Manifestations of Mirror Guy in the Majestics of this set. Don't think that's going to be the case here. There are some really powerful cards, but nothing quite so singularly game altering this time around, which is encouraging. But Tarantula Toxin, which I alluded to earlier, it is an assassin attack reaction. It's a 3-block majestic, costs 0 to use, and it has a choose one or both ability. Target dagger attack gets +3. Target card defending an attack with stealth gets -3 this turn. So this is the card that is kind of a wombo combo with the graphing calculator, as it can be a 0 for 6 value swing if they put a card defending the graphing calculator. Uh, so in late game scenarios, if they're at 1 or 2 and they're like, okay, well I'm at 2, I don't want to go to flick range. Literally a 1 card 6 value swing is gonna end plenty of games. So uh,
Also, it it's not on our bomb list because um, I think it needs enablers, but Kiss of Death the type line of that card being um, an assassin attack action as well as a dagger attack um, means that you can flick this, flick the Kiss of Death on a previous chain link with your arm piece or another card that says like flick a dagger that you control as long as the chain is still there. And that also pairs very well with Trench Toxin because it will get both of the buffs on the attack action.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely more CC relevant, but also at some point somebody is going to draft a Kiss of Death and a Tarantula Toxin in the same draft, and it's going to be disgusting.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, Kiss of Death is just a 0 for 3 red majestic stealth attack action. When this hits a hero, they lose a life. So, uh, not a bomb in and of itself, but has some noteworthy text on it. Uh, all right, now we get to the real meat and potatoes. Uh, our first assassin rare we'll look at is called Bite. It's a so all of the stealth cards follow the classic stealth card model of the reds are 0 for 3s, with usually with some other amount of text on them. And I believe all the stealth cards are also 3 blocks. So
Yep.
I'm gonna skip that when we're talking through them. But yeah, so we have a stealth card called Bite that says when this attacks a hero, you may have target dagger you control deal 1 damage to them. If damage is dealt this way, the dagger has hit. Destroy the dagger. So this is important because you want to flick your dagger. You get the point of damage value. It opens up a slot to equip a graphing calculator, uh, and the damage is relatively unpreventable outside of a very minute few cards in the set.
And Mark of the Huntsman hitting means that you will get to mark your opponent.
Yes, yep. Without them having much recourse, which is very good. Um, Alex gave this one an A. I gave it a B. I think we're just in general. It's a really solid card. It's an effect that you want. Um, I don't think it is, I guess, hero defining enough quite to be an A. Like I don't see Red Bite and go cool. I'm definitely an Arachne in this draft. Uh, but it's a very solid card nonetheless.
Yeah, it's probably on the border between A and B, but it just throwing a dagger when it attacks, which then it's going to be Mark of the Huntsman, which then is going to mark them, which then your Web of Deceit, so it's going to turn this into a 0 for 5 on hit go again. One of that damage being relatively unpreventable outside of like 2 cards. Um, uh, I'm just a big fan of that. I think the best Arachne decks are going to end up running quite a few, as many like flick effects as they can get. I think Rhea said that she liked, what was it, 6.
I thought that was for Ninja.
Oh, it wasn't. Maybe. Either way, like I think you want a bunch of flick effects and then a bunch of re-equipping daggers. I think that is going to be the best way to end up playing Arachne, and that this card does that.
Yeah, fair. All around quite good. Um, Next stealth attack on the menu is called Whittle from Bone. This one just says when this attacks a marked hero, equip a graphing calculator token. Um, this
We
one
both,
we both put as C's, uh, and my thought process on it is you need them to be marked to get this value, and there are other cards in the assassin card pool that equip graphing calculators with less hassle.
yeah, uh, it's it's a stealth card and it blocks for 3, so I don't think it can go any lower than a C. But I don't care about this effect really.
Yeah,
So. Just
I do
fine.
like the fact that it's when it attacks a marked hero, not like hits a hero that is marked, right? So it's
Mhm.
not not entirely dependent on those other effects. You still have more agency, or rather, your opponent doesn't have agency over whether you get the graphing calculator. But
Yeah, seems
um,
like deck filler to me.
mhm. Next up, we have Stains of the Redback. Assassin attack reaction, 3 block, costs 1, but if the defending hero is marked, this costs 1 resource less to play. Target attack with stealth gets +3 and go again.
I have this at a B. I think that the red one is very good. Um, Being able to give your stealth attacks a go again and it not mattering if they hit or not. Because a lot of the time with Web of Deceit, it's here's the 0 for 4. If it hits, go again. And there's quite a few defense reactions in this set. And this is, I'm going to give the stack +3, so hopefully that gets over your reaction. But even if it doesn't, I still have go again, which means I get to follow up. And if I didn't hit, you're still marked, so I get to follow up with this other 0 for 4. As Kevin changes his grade to a C+.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Slight upgrade there.
I think the
Uh,
unconditional go again is great. Also just blocks 3, so.
yeah, not a ton of downside. I just feel like there's a lot of other um, I don't know. There's so many reactions in the set that I don't love it being a one cost one that needs the opponent to be marked for it to uh, get that really good value for you. But if you
I
have plentiful ways to mark people, then it's going to look insane.
I hear that. But just the cost curve of a blue and a dagger attacking for 2. If the dagger doesn't hit, you already got a card out of their hand or equipment or whatever. Um, and then you still have 1 floating, and all the stealth cards are free. So I think it still fits the cost curve. It's just like really good if it's free.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. I might be looking at it more at oh, do I really want to pay 1 for this rather than does it fit with the average turn cost curve for assassin? Which yeah, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Uh, Next up we have Orb Weaver Spinneret. This one, kind of I alluded to earlier, is an assassin action. Costs 0. Uh, Blocks for 3. It says equip a graphing calculator token. Your next attack with stealth this turn gets +3. Go again. Um, so if you have an empty equipment slot, this looks a lot like a stealth leg tap because the graphing calculator attack costs 1 and this will buff it for 3. Um, this one I have rated as a B minus because the equipping of the graphing calculator is unconditional. Um, and then also it's just a 3 block. So very, very solid in my opinion. Alex was a bit less high on it.
Yeah, I think in my ideal Arachne deck, I'm not equipping a graphic calculator. I want to just be re-equipping my Mark of the Huntsman, um, and playing that way because most of the most of the assassin cards cost 0, and so pitching pitching a card, whether it's 2 resources or 1 resource or either of the 2 daggers, doesn't really make a big difference to me. Like you're still forced to pitch a card. Um, you're not really gaining anything with the exception when your Orb Weaver and your calculator is free. So I don't know. I just want to be re-equipping my Mark of the Huntsman, not as much the other dagger. So I'm just not as high on this one.
All right, fair. Um, all right. Next up, we've got a reprint from Outsiders of Backstab, which is a stealth attack action. Only comes in red, notably. That is actually go figure. The set that has a lot of draconic stuff has quite a few cards that only come in red. But yeah, backstab only comes in red. So it's 0 for 3 stealth. that says defense reaction cards can't be played this chain link. Um, I put C plus. I think you can't. It's tough to count on the defense reaction text being relevant, and if it's not relevant, then this is arguably the worst stealth card, red stealth card of the bunch.
Uh, maybe, but just knowing that with Arachne Web Deceit, you can in my brain, I'm just assuming that my opponent is always marked. So this just being a 0 for 4, defense reactions can't be played to this chain link, and like a lot of the reactions are just +3. So there's 2 cards 7 that you can't play defense reactions to. There's quite a few defense reactions. So either when they're at low life total, they either have to overblock this, or they can't like wait for you to react and then reply on top of it. So I don't know. I think it's good. I think you try to get one and like put it in your deck for and like maybe pitch it early. Try to get in your deck back around. So once they have a defense reaction set up, then you can play it and be like, you got to give me more cards out of your hand because you can't play that against it. So
Fair, and I guess it does. There's some of the equipment that are. No, I guess those aren't being played though. So it doesn't get around leapfrog if it's coming in for 4.
correct.
Yeah, I I've seen it be as insane as it can be. At a pre-release, somebody flipped and they were trapdoor, and they uh,
Crap.
tutored a trap, and
And then
then
I
the
played
immediate follow-up was
backstab.
backstab.
Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah. Sometimes tutoring extra cards is just
so maybe
actively
me being
bad.
on the maybe being on the correct side of that makes me a little higher on it than I should be, but I think the I think it's fine. I think it's worth it. All right. Next up, we've got um, our first contract stealth cards. So we have Defang the Dragon. That is a stealth attack. 0 for 3, block 3. Only comes in red. The text on it is contract. You are contracted to hit a marked hero named Fang. Whenever you complete this contact, draw a card. And then there's
Identically
a identically one for Syndra that is the exact same text, but instead of hitting Fang, you hit Syndra, draw a card.
extinguish the flames. But yeah, otherwise identical. You put B's on both of these. I got them at C plus. I think it's it's gem random uh, whether the extra text on these could possibly be relevant. Otherwise, they're just blank. I
Yep.
think they're in the same league with backstab. Like when they're good, they have the potential to be like great. Like there's no other stealth card that could be better than what this one did in this moment. But they're so specific that you know 5 out of 6 times it's just a blank red stealth card. But plenty of times that's okay.
The the reason I have these rated at B is because if I play these against the hero that they're contracted for, it's just an immediate you have to block 6. Because if you don't, um, first of all, this is most likely coming in for 4 on hit go again. So if you just don't block it, then I will be going again and contracted to draw a card. So then I get to play another card, which then the contract is still active. So if that card hits, I will draw another card. So these are just momentum swingers for specifically Fang and Syndra, where they have a lot of cards already that are if your opponent is Arachne, do X extra thing. So this is this is your get back, um, and it's just gonna get minimum 2 cards every time you play it because they can't afford to let you hit with it.
Yeah, fair. There's an interesting viewpoint on it. I still I don't think I would take them over at least several other options that we're about to talk about. In particular, this next one is my pick for strongest stealth card in the set. We have Mark of the Black Widow, which is a excuse me, stealth card that says when this hits a marked hero, they banish a card from their hand. Full stop. Uh, Taking cards from your opponent's hand is always good. That's just how Flesh and Blood works. Uh, I think this is I don't think any of the other stealth cards can quite hang with this. At least none of the other non-majestic ones. Um, we both put A's on Mark of the Black Widow. I
Yeah,
think it's pretty self-explanatory. Pummel's good. This pummel is stapled on to condition for a card you already wanted to play, which is a red stealth card. So
yep, yep.
go to town.
Uh, no notes. Next,
Yeah,
Mark of the Funnel Web. Notice how these are kind of lining up with the different versions of Arachne. It's a stealth card cycle. When this hits a marked hero, banish a card from their arsenal. I've set it B because threatening a card in their arsenal is good, but there's not always an arsenal, so not quite as good as Black Widow.
yeah. It's the concuss versus command respect from heavy hitters. Like you know, it, sometimes command respect is devastating because there's a really important card in the arsenal. Other times it's blank because there's no card in the arsenal. Mark of the Black Widow way more consistently better, but Funnel Web is going to just be devastating at moments. Um, you put it at B, I put a B minus. Very solid. No further notes.
Yep. Next is one of my favorite stealth cards in the set. Mark the Prey. Once again, stealth card stat line. Um, when this hits a hero, mark them. The amount of times that it's okay, I'm gonna attack with this stealth card, and then if it has go again, I'm gonna do this. Oh wait, that's not gonna be as good because they're not gonna be marked. Because if it hits, then I'll get go again, but they're not gonna be marked anymore. So then my mark of the Black Widow is not gonna have its extra effect. Where Mark of the Prey, here's a 0 for 4. If it hits, you're gonna continue to be marked, which means that my next stealth card attack will also be coming in for 4, assuming Arachne's base hero power. So just keeping the opponent marked, I think, is incredible.
Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
have it as an A.
I gave it a solid B plus. Um, but yeah, I like removing the removing the agency on the opponent's part too when they're thinking about it. Oh, do I let this hit? Well, I'm still marked either way, so
Yeah.
um, very solid. Uh, Next up, we have Plunge the Prospect. Stealth card. If this is attacking a marked hero, this gets +1. I gave it a C, you gave it a B. Assuming that they are marked, then this is a 0 for 5 with go again, which is
On hit go again, but yeah.
on hit go again, yeah. Uh, Obviously solid rate, but like yeah, I think
If they were
Mark
gonna
the
be
Prey is definitely the better of the two.
yeah, if they were gonna be blocking 4 to prevent your go again, they're just almost just as easily blocking 5. It's 2 cards either way. So I don't think it's nothing special, just a um I put that a B. Can't see. It's just a filler card.
Yep. Uh, Next up, we've got Reaper's Call, another stealth card. This one with the instant ability discard this, mark target opposing hero. Um, Something I mentioned when we were chatting a bit earlier. I think I valued some of the like some of the marking and some of the fealty creation stuff a little bit higher, and that might be because I've played less of the set so far compared to you. Um, but I gave Reaper's Call a B plus just because I think that the the modality of the card is very strong. Cool. If I need to, I turn this into a mark, and that value is getting returned to me somehow. The fact that it's instant speed can have relevance for certain other card effects, um, and it's still just a 3 block assassin card with stealth. So you know, like we said earlier, the floor is only so low.
Yeah. The insta speed discard mark is, there's a generic card in the set that does the same effect, and that is very good. So this being a 3 block and that generic being a 2 block just makes this better. I love this card in blue because it's just doing everything you want. I like it less in the other colors because if I'm running a red stealth attack, I would rather have an on hit if it's going to be marking. But the blue being a 3 block, and if it's an extra card in my hand, there's a combat trick. Now, all right, I'm attacking for 3 with this stealth card. Oh, you're not marked. And then they go, okay, no blocks. And then I go, actually, I'm going to discard this. So now you're marked. Arachne Web of Deceit says now this gets +1, and if it hits go again, you passed into the reaction phase already. So I get to hit, banish card from your hand, maybe.
Yeah, this
So
this might just
that's
be one of
like
those times where normally it's like, oh, okay, well, the red version of the card is the best and the yellow is the second best, or the yellow or blue second best, depending on what kind of number of breakpoints it has. This is one of the ones where it's like, okay, well, the best version of this is blue because it's a blue block 3 for you, but also it's got this extra utility that you love.
yeah.
All right, next up, and I think this is the last stealth card.
Yep.
Scuttle the Canal. When this attacks a marked hero, this gets go again. Um, so if you're attacking a marked hero, it's a 3 block head jab with stealth. Uh, I think it's fine. I gave it a C- because this is probably the actual worst stealth card of the bunch. Like, it's not bad, but it's just comparatively
Yeah,
attractive.
my problem with it is you're getting go again unconditionally, which is great, but then your opponent is not incentivized to block it whatsoever. So they're just going to let it hit and become unmarked.
Yeah,
And now your follow up, like you saw all the stealth cards, is if this is attacking unmarked, like it has this extra effect. So if they're no longer marked, then you're just going to throw 3 more damage after this per card. I mean, I guess that's fine. Maybe you dagger after this, but I don't know. I'm not excited about it. I'd rather have other stealth cards.
yeah, agreed. And then we will finish off the assassin with 3 more red reactions. These only come in red. The first one is another reprint, Razor's Edge. It's a 0 cost assassin attack reaction, free block. It says target attack action card with stealth gets +3. I think Razor's Edge is very good format. Um, kind of a no notes thing. I had a game at my pre-release where I'm like, okay, like the Arachne wasn't transformed, so there was no discard a card for Magic +3. They didn't have any resources, and I'm like, okay, well, if I if I play like the card in their arsenal isn't Razor's Edge, I can, and I'm right, and it's not Razor's Edge. I live to fight another day. Can rip tempo next turn. But like I didn't have a good way to play around Razor's Edge, so I just had to not to, and Razor's Edge killed me because 0 for 3 at reaction speed is very strong.
Yeah. Because first of all, note this says target attack action card with stealth, so this cannot target the dagger with stealth. Um, but being able to go here's a 0 for 4 on hit go again. They go okay, I'm gonna block 4, and then you raise your edge it to put it 7. Now they have to give you another card as a defense reaction, not to let it get it to go again. Uh, I think very very powerful.
Yep.
Um, I think my favorite reaction
B and
is
B plus is what we put on Razor's Edge.
yeah, uh, two sides of the blade. It is an assassin attack reaction that blocks for 3, comes in only red, and costs 1. It says choose one, target dagger attack gets +3, or you can choose target attack action card with stealth, gets +3, and when this hits a hero, mark them.
This is another uh, double dipper with Kiss of Death.
Disgusting with use
Yeah.
of death. But it costing 1, I don't. It's like not great, but it fits into your cost curve of pitching a blue attack with the dagger. If they and it's totally modal on if they're already marked, and they block it. Okay, cool. I'll now throw the stealth card. If they're not marked, okay, they're not gonna block it. Cool. I will save it for the stealth card. Oh, they're not marked. They block this. Okay, well I need you to be marked to turn on my other stealth card with the sound hit. So I'm gonna give this dagger +3, and now all of a sudden I'm attacking for 4, and you've like blocked 2 probably on the dagger. Where on the other hand, if they're already marked, you come in with one of your stealth cards. It just gives it +3, and also the effect of mark the prey that I really love. Of when it hits them, mark them again. So potentially come in for 0 for 4 on it, go again. They block 4. You react, give it +3, and mark them again, and then come in with another stealth card, 0 for 4 on hit, do whatever.
This will be the most Mark Morrison mentions ever in a podcast. We're saying marked every other card.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I have two sides of the blade as an A. If I
Yeah,
am
same.
even close to playing reacting, I'm grabbing that.
Yep. Yep, that's one of the signposts. And it's a common for the record. It's probably it's so because it's only in red, it will effectively be sort of short printed. It only shows up in red, so you're going to see two sides of the blade 1/3 as often as any given stealth card that comes in rainbow. Um, so keep that in. Those will have a little premium on top of the fact that it's already just extremely powerful and flexible.
Yeah.
Rounding out the mono assassin cards, we've got the first defense reaction we've come across, I believe. Hunted or Hunter. 0 cost, red, assassin defense reaction trap. Has 3 defense. When this defends and the attacking hero has played or activated an attack reaction, this chain link, they lose 1 life. So notably, it's played or activated, so there are several different abilities of like equipment in the set. In particular, one whole leapfrog cycle of equipment that would count towards this. Um, but yeah, realistically, it's just like this is a, doing a Riptide impression, right? It's trying to be a 0 for 4 that you get to play defensively. So um, I put it as a B just because I think defense reactions in the set come at a premium, even if even if this was a vanilla defense reaction. Uh, I still think it's a similar rating just because again D reacts are at a premium in a format with so many attack reactions.
Yeah, I had it at a C. I'm not sure why that's like that. I don't think a defense reaction in this set can be lower than a B.
I'll update it for you.
So
On board.
yeah,
Bees. Sweeping bees.
B's. All right,
Um,
that finishes up the assassin stuff.
yes, indeed. So next up we get to Draconic Ninja and Ninja card pools. Um, the one majestic bomb we wanted to call out here is Blood Runs Deep. It's a Draconic Ninja attack action, 3 block, 2 power, costs 2, but this costs 1 resource less to play for each Draconic Chain Link you control. When this attacks, each dagger you control deals 1 damage to them. If damage is dealt this way, the dagger has hit, destroy the daggers. So this is just basically the best way to, if you're going to flick both kunai in the same turn, swing kunai, blood runs deep for 0 cost, flick both kunai while they're still on the chain. They each deal a damage, and then this is your third chain link. You're still on the active chain link. You can recur both of them in the same turn and either swing them again or just have them back for the future.
Yeah. Or even just swing one of them because you potentially have one resource left if
Right?
you pitch to blue. And then you're on that dance of like, all right, I got one in the graveyard, play one out, recur the other one, kind of thing. But just like being a being a 0/4 that half the damage is like close to uninteractable. Pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, and just it's on a 3 block, and getting the first 2 Draconic Chain Links is pretty trivial. Um,
Yeah.
so even in limited, so yeah, definitely a bomb on that one. The other Majestic is Ignite, which is just it's good. You'll take it. It's not. It doesn't have enough power to be considered a bomb, but like if I see that in draft, and I'm already in Draconic Ninja, I'm definitely scooping it up.
So something to note if you didn't already know it. Ignite, when this attacks, the next Draconic card you play or activate this combat chain costs one less to play or activate. Now what you're going to want to do is play Ignite, and then, oh, I've got this other card that I want to make a Draconic so that it costs less. I want to pop this fealty that I have to make a Draconic. Breaking the fealty will, like,
That is activating
cost,
a
it is
Draconic card.
activating an effect. So what you need to do is play Ignite before Ignite resolves, break the fealty so that your next card you play is Draconic, but it doesn't take the cost reduction.
Yeah, it's
That's
one of
the
those
ordering that you
do,
have to do it.
do a thing, hold priority, do another thing, so that later on both things can apply to whatever is after Ignite.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, be careful if you're viewing this right before Memphis this weekend. Um, all right, so let's get into rares. Starting off with Demonstrate Devotion. So there's a lot of cards that if you played in Uprising, the shape of the card is going to look very familiar. Um, Back when Fi was the deck, there was a lot of, well, there are some reprints that will also look very familiar, but there were either, 1 for 4s that were 2 blocks that had unconditional go again, or there were 1 for 4s that were 3 blocks that had conditional go again, uh, or there were 0 for 3s, conditional go again, that were 3 blocks, or unconditional head jabs that were, coming in for 3, 2 defense. So the shape of all these cards is going to follow that pretty closely. Um, but they varied it up a fair bit more than Uprising, which is nice to see. And there were several reprints that came in red only. The original Dust Runner Outlaw and Cinderskin Devotion are the 1 for 4s, and then Lava Vein Loyalty and Ronin Renegade um, are also red only reprints in the set. Um, but yeah, so we start with Demonstrate Devotion. Um, I gave this a B minus. Alex gave it a C. It is a 1 for 4 that says if you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, this gets go again, and when this attacks a hero, create a fealty token. Um, being the second Draconic Chain Link is pretty trivial to get, so for the most part, this is gonna just read 1 for 4, go again, um, create a fealty token. Just because again, the way you're gonna be juggling the kunai, uh, and the fact that it's 1 cost into 1 cost is pretty easy to do. Um, it being a 2 block is rough, but especially given that it's one of the cards that is not historically in Ninja. If it's a starter, it's a 2 cost, but if it's a combo card or something that needs to come second, it is more likely to be a 3 block. Um, but the value here is that you pretty unconditionally get to create a fealty token. So as I mentioned previously, I think I rated fealty and marking cards a bit higher than Alex did. Uh,
And I tended to lean towards the I would love it if my ninja cards would block for 3. Because I've played some Cinder games where I've gotten fealty and have not broken them a single time. Just just didn't need to make things draconic. So like grading the fealty is not nearly as important um, as it is in Fang.
That's
So
fair. That might also
if
just be
if I can get
shading
these,
my grades too, is that I've only played Fang of this set.
yeah. So uh, I think they're just like your classic ninja thing, and then your classic ninja format of the Dust Runner Outlaw. But like maybe you get a fealty out of it, which depending on the other cards in your deck, maybe that's really important, and then the grade would get bumped up for this. But um, maybe that doesn't matter at all. So then you're just running 2 blocks instead of 3 blocks. So
Yeah, fair.
just
I
depends.
feel like there's so much. We'll get on the other rares, but the ninja rares, there's several of them that care if they themselves are draconic. Um, and I think there's enough power there that that's where in my mind I'm like, okay, I do want to make sure I have a few fealty per game so that my Art of the Dragon or Dragon Power is buffed to full power. But
Mhm.
um, so yeah, Demonstrate Devotion is a 1 for 4, makes a fealty. Uh, Display Loyalty is the head jab shaped version of the same effect. Um, 0 for 3 if it's the second Draconic Chain Link, or excuse me, if you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, it gets go again. It can be the second link, just for the record. And when this attacks, create fealty. Um, I rated that one also a bit higher than Alex. I put B plus. He put C. Um, I
The
can.
same
I
thing you just talked about.
Yeah, same deal. Um,
If fealty is important for your deck to turn on your other stuff, then it's gonna be closer to a B. If it's not, then closer to a C.
yep. Next up, this got A's across the board. Wrath of Retribution. Draconic Ninja attack action. 3 cost, 3 power, 3 block. It's legendary, which only matters for constructed. But it says this costs 1 resource less to play for each Draconic Chainlink you control. When this attacks, daggers you control get +1 and cost 1 resource less to activate this combat chain. Um, so realistically, if you have a hand of like 0 for 4, 0 for 4, 0 for 4, suddenly this is a 0 for 3 that lets you come in with a 0 for 2 and a 0 for 2. Live in the
And
dream.
also, um, no, that doesn't work like that. Okay, never mind. No, also, just a cool card that buffs your 1 power dagger by making them. You do a bad Fang impression. Here's a 0 for 2, go again.
Yeah. Yeah. Card's very good. I don't think it's quite as good as uh, its warrior equivalent legendary card, but
Yeah.
still very solid.
It could potentially let you attack with 4 daggers if you have ways to flick them. So you can like attack with a dagger for 1. That's a chain link. Attack with a dagger for 1. That's a chain link. Um, and then play Wrath Retribution, or play a card that flicks your daggers to get them in the graveyard, and then play Wrath Retribution, get them back, and then 2/2.
Yeah, a lot of
Like the ceiling.
very very high damage potential on Wrath Distribution.
Yeah.
Um, all right, moving into the commons. First we have Blood Drop and then Bloodline. These are 2 cards that again share very similar shape, just slightly different stat lines. So Blood Drop is a 1 cost, 3 block Draconic Ninja attack action. It's 2 power, costs 1 less resource for each Draconic Chainlink you control, and has unconditional go again. So basically, as long as this isn't first, it's a 0 for 2 Draconic Ninja go again card. Um, Bloodline is a 2 cost, 3 power version. So this just wants to be the third thing you play to get an unconditional 3 block, 3 power again attack. I think on average these are Like Bloodline is worse than Lava Vein Loyalty, which is functionally very similar, even though not templated the same. Um, for both of these, we both just put C's. They're fine. You'll play them. They fill out your deck. They're not embarrassing because they're 3 blocks, but you're not clamoring to take them super early. These also only come in red. Uh, Actually, all of
Yep.
the Draconic Ninja cards in the set only come in red. So
Yep.
yeah, Blood Drop and Bloodline, mono red only. Uh, Next up, we have Burning Blade Dance. Uh, this one definitely a bit better. So it's another 3 block 0 for 3. If you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, this gets Go Again, and when this hits a hero, you can flick a dagger at them, destroy the dagger. So we've talked a few different times why flicking the dagger like that is very, very strong. Alex rated this card as an A. I gave it a B plus. It's definitely, uh, yeah, it definitely no worse than tied for first on Lava Vein loyalty variants.
Yeah, this card is just a must block for the opponent. So
Yeah, yes indeed. Um, Next up, we've got an old classic from Uprising, Cinderskin Devotion. It's a 1 cost, 4 power, 3 block Draconic Ninja attack. If you control 2 or more chain links, Draconic chain links, this gets Go Again. So it's a not unconditional leg tap, but the upside is it's a 3 block. Um, I gave it a C plus. You gave it a B. That's largely due to the block value.
yep.
Um, but those breakpoints being 4 is also very important, right? Everybody's valuing 3 blocks because that's how Flesh and Blood works. So 1 for 4s with Go Again also fit pretty nicely in your uh, kunai cost curve as well, or they can depending on how your deck is built. Um, the next reprint we already mentioned earlier, Dust Runner Outlaw, is a Draconic Ninja leg tap, so it's just a 1 for 4 2 block with Go Again. Um, you gave it a C, I gave it a C minus. It's fine. You'll play it because you'll need to,
Yep.
but it's not ever going to be the best card in your deck. Next up, we have the other best. No, this is good. It might not be the best, but it's still pretty good. Another good Lava Vein loyalty variant, Hot on Their Heels. Uh, 0 for 3, 3 block, 2 more Draconic Chain Links. This gets Go Again. When this hits, mark the opposing hero. Um, which it is strictly better than the OG Lava Vein loyalty, which we see here. Um, which at best is just a 0 for 3 with Go Again. So serviceable, but definitely not top dog in that category. Um, Mark with Magma is,
I like those cards block 3.
yeah, agreed.
And like the making fealty versus just like marking them. Um, Honestly, I feel like I would rather mark them than just get the fealty right up because they're just going so wide, they're not going to be able to block it all anyways. And then you may have cards that say if your opponent is marked, do an extra thing. So it just depends on what else is in your deck.
Yeah. Yeah, Hot on Their Heels, I gave a B minus, you gave a C. Lava Vein Loyalty, I gave a C minus, you gave a C. Now we've got Mark with Magma. This is a 1 for 4, 3 block. It is the 1 for 4 equivalent of Hot on Their Heels. So if it's 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, this gets Go Again, and on hit, mark them. It's particularly good because it's on a 1 for 4, so it's not trivial to prevent the on hit. Just a very solid card that I would not be upset to pick relatively early for Ninja.
And it blocks 3.
And it blocks 3. Uh, Last Draconic Ninja card is the OG Draconic Ninja Jab.
Hit the
Ronin
zero.
Renegade, which is just a 0 for 3 with Go Again, no questions asked. Um, it's fine. You'll play it. It fits in and extends any hand. It's perfectly fine to Arsenal if you feel like you need to set up an overwhelmingly wide turn. C's across the board.
It does notably let you potentially go pitchless. Uh, Obviously, the kunai cost 1, but if you can start your turn with a run and renegade for 0, you now have 1 draconic chain link. So all the other ones that are, if this is the second draconic chain link, it gains go again. This is a great starter if you just have a bunch of attacks that you don't want to pitch for. So you're not going to need to use the starter of a draconic kunai.
All right, moving into the plain old ninja cards. We've got one bomb here. So Art of the Dragon Blood is actually can be really good, and the floor of it being
0 for 4, block 3.
wounding blow
Yeah.
is great. So like the floor is good enough that yeah, if you see it, you take it, but not quite bomb category outside of classic constructed, in my opinion. Uh, but we've got Devotion Never Dies is the one that I think does qualify for bomb status in this format. It's arguably, yeah, arguably the strongest reward for doing other draconic stuff. So Devotion Never Dies is a ninja attack action. It's a 2 block. It's a 1 for 4 with go again. But it says when this hits, if a draconic attack was the last attack this combat chain, banish this. If you do, you may play it this turn. So want to go draconic attack, devotion never dies. You ask them either to commit equipment or 2 cards to not let you effectively draw or potentially effectively draw an additional copy of Devotion Never Dies. In Magical Christmas Land, where your opponent is fully determined to not block, if you have like, 2 blues in hand, you can go Kunai, Devotion, uh, Ronin
Devotion.
Renegade, Devotion. Like you can just keep going and going. You can Energizer Bunny that shit. Um, or actually, yeah, you don't even need that. So two blues, Devotion, and the Kunai let you go Kunai, Devotion, Devotion,
Yeah.
assuming that all hits. So definitely worthy of bomb status. More realistically, you're going to get 2 cards of blocking or some extra equipment to make sure that it doesn't connect. But that is also valuable. So,
Yep.
all right, moving into the plain ninja rares, we've got Art of the Dragon Claw, which there's 3 of these Art of the Dragon cards. There's Claw, Fire, and Scale. They are all critical strike variants, 1 for 5s with defense. Art of Dragon Claw says when this attacks, if it is draconic, it gets this. It's a hero. Destroy all cards in their arsenal. Um, you know, good. Uh, always a nice effect to have, especially.
Walmart Command and Conquer.
Yeah, yeah, very true. Walmart Command and Conquer. It's solid. It's a payoff for the fealty you're going to incidentally pick up while you're playing Ninja. And the floor of a 1 for 5 and limited is perfectly serviceable. Um, Art of the Dragon Fire says when this attacks, if it is draconic, deal 2 damage to any target. This is I this card's just great. A 1 for 7 is really strong. A 1 for 7 with 2 fully evasive damage is also very strong. I think this card is very very limited playable. It's very constructed playable. Uh, I think it's just this card realistically just reads as a 1 for 7 the vast majority of the time. Um,
Yeah.
it is one of the best payoffs with you were talking about the ignite fealty trick earlier. Uh, 2 card 9 value hand if you have ignite, a fealty, and this Art of the Dragon. Um, yeah, card's just great. The rate is there, the floor is there. So yeah, we both
Block
put
3.
B's on Claw. I put A minus. You put a B on Art of the Dragon Fire here. And then very much bringing up the rear, we have Art of the Dragon Scale, which is a nice niche ability to exist, but quite a bit less relevant in limited on average. It's when this attacks, if it's draconic, it gets when this hits a hero, put a -1 defense counter on an equipment they control. Then if it has 0, destroy it. Um, you're not really doing tricksy things, so it's not gonna quite have the juice here. Because if it's really problematic for them to lose an equipment, they'll just block. So the fact that it gives them that agency, this mostly just reads like critical strike. So we both gave it a C.
All right.
Next up, Dragon Power. This is
Speaking of
a
1-for-7s,
yeah. We do love a good 1-for-7. So we're still in the rares here, but Dragon Power is a base 4 power 1 cost attack action with 3 defense. Uh, Comes in the full color cycle. When this attacks, if it is draconic, it gets +3. So if you have fealty, this is also uh, a 2 with ignite and a fealty. This is also a 2 card 9 value. Um, but yeah, what this is oh, what was the was it pouncing chi in MST format? That was like a 2-for-7 if it followed a tagger, right? It's kind of just that. Do do your ninja theme thing. Here's
oh
your
yeah, yeah.
way above rate chain ender.
Key
Um,
Unleashed,
Key
right?
Unleashed. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think the blue version of this card is fantastic. Is it the
Completely agree.
block 3, and if it's draconic, it's 1-for-5.
Yeah, that's nuts. I'd been looking at this card for constructed Fi, and in my head it was a 2 block. So I was like, it's still. I think that's like a blue 1-for-5. I think is still good enough on rate that like maybe we can run that 2 block, but 3 block, absolutely, super duper in. Um,
Yeah, we both have a B. Yeah, it's great.
yeah, never sad to take one of those. Well, maybe you're sad to take like the 5th copy of that, but still 3 block, so whatever.
Yeah.
Uh, Next up, Silver Talons. We have a Wounding Blow as the floor here. 0-for-4, 3 block, ninja attack action. When this attacks a hero, if it is draconic, you may have target dagger you control deal 1 damage to them. If damage is dealt this way, the dagger is hit, destroy the dagger. So 0-for-4 chain ender that can let you flick a dagger. Um, additionally to it destroying itself. So um, if you can turn this draconic, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then like once you flick the dagger with this, while the chain is still there, you use Cinder's ability to then get that dagger that you just flicked back. So
yep, yeah, Silver Talons I think is very solid. I gave it a B minus. You gave it a B. Um, I'm
yep.
guessing, yeah, no, it's just really solid. You're not disappointed to take this in red or blue. All right, move to commons. Starting off with Fire Tenant First Strike. This is a head jab, 0-for-3, 2 block, attack action, unconditional go again. When this attacks, your next draconic attack this combat chain gets +1. So very frequently looks like a 0-for-4 with go again, which is an extremely playable card. Um, it's a little. I think this card is better in CC or something like Phi than it is in this limited format for Syndra. Because if pumping like a dagger to 2 is problematic, like you just it's it feels better blocking a dagger for 2 than a dagger for 1. Um, but it's fine. I
I
think
think
you're
I,
fine with this card in red.
I think the real if if you have the fealty flowing, I think this card gets great. Because you can then, like I was talking about with Renegade, you turn this Draconic with your first fealty first action, and then you get to play your other Draconic Ninja that are like, if this is the second Draconic Chain Link, it will then go again, and then also +1 from this card. So I think
Yeah,
that's where the that's where the juice is at.
Yeah, makes sense. We both gave it a C. It's solid. It's not a super high pick though. Um, Next up, Grow Claws. This one we disagree on a little bit. So Grow Claws is a 1 cost, 4 power, unconditional go again, 2 block attack action. If a draconic attack was the last attack this combat chain, this gets +1. I think this card just says 1 for 5 with go again way too trivially to not be. Uh, I gave it a B plus. Gave it a C.
Um,
What were your thoughts here?
yeah, I'm very easily convinced that it's B. If you're pitching already for this, that means that like sending a dagger before this to turn it on is um, not not an issue. Um, so yeah, I would I'm convinced.
Boom, got him. Uh, all right, so we've grown claws, but now grow wings. Uh, Grow wings. It's a 0 for 3 ninja attack action, 3 block. If a draconic attack was the last attack this combat chain, this gets go again. Um, I think this is kind of just like worse lava vein loyalty.
Yeah, this is the most filler of all fillers.
Yeah, yeah. Um, C's across the board. It's fine. You're not super excited, except for the fact that it's 3 block. See these towards the end of packs. Let's put it that
Oh,
way.
it is a 3 block. Look at that.
Yeah, not
Didn't even
bad.
notice.
Um, Next up, we have Tag the Target. This is a head jab that says when this hits a hero, mark them. Um, Alex loves that text. I don't love that it's just a 3 power attack that makes it pretty trivial to prevent becoming marked. I gave it a C minus. Alex gave it a C.
Yeah,
More
fine.
filler.
Yep. It's gonna go in your deck because it has go again naturally printed on it, but
This next one I gave a B minus. You gave a C. Is Trap and Release, which is the leg tap shaped version of Tag the Target. So it's a 1 for 4. When this hits a hero, mark them. The fact that it's a breakpoint, I bumped it up. Just think the breakpoint aspect makes this one quite a bit stronger of the two. But again,
yeah.
still filler territory. Actually, yeah, no, I'm gonna change it to a C plus instead of a B minus. There's too many other cards that I
Yeah.
know at B that I'd want over this.
The breakpoint is there at 1 for 4, but you now are like using a card to pitch that turn, and then also the
But I'm assuming I want to pitch every turn with kunai. Like I know flicking them is good, and some turns you'll be like, cool, here's my 0 0 0 0. But I feel like
yeah,
on average you want to be at like paying one to swing with a kunai every turn.
yeah, that's very possible. But this, if you're gonna play this card, it locks you into being forced to pitch. And that's not a negative; it's just a fact. But the and the 4 breakpoint is there, but I think the on hit that it's providing is not something super crazy. So I don't know. Yeah, just filler for me.
Yeah,
C.
fair. Uh, and that is the end of the mono ninja cards, which brings us to Warrior and Draconic Warrior. We didn't really, we did neither of us thought that there were either of these. Oh wait, taking it back. Are we putting a
Yeah,
bomb in here?
yeah.
Okay.
Hunt's End is crazy. The Draconic Warrior attack reaction blocks for 3, cost 0, only comes in red. Play this only if you control 3 or more fealty tokens. Target dagger gets +4. And if you remember from an hour ago when we were talking about Obsidian Fire Vein, that means that this is assuming that you have 3 fealty because your daggers would then be free, and that's the only way you can play this is if you already have 3. Your first dagger is now coming in for 6 at reaction speed. You just added 5 to it in the reaction step. and then you also just get to swing your other dagger for 1. So this just became a um, 1 card 7 in limited,
Not bad.
and 4 or 5 of that damage coming at reaction speed. So
Yeah, yeah.
crazy.
Very good, very good. Uh, all right. So Hunt's End is our bomb, Draconic Warrior. Moving into the rares. Uh, Start with Affirm Loyalty. Draconic Warrior attack reaction, 0 cost, 2 block. Uh, and again, all of these Draconic Warrior cards are red only. So target dagger attack gets +2. If you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, create a fealty token. Um, we got a late game adjustment to the rating here, so we both agree that this is an A card. I gave it A minus. Alex gave it an A. Um,
Yeah, I filled this out at the beginning of the week. You filled it
that's
out
fair.
today.
Yeah,
Opinions have
true,
changed.
true. Uh, so, so I gave it an A largely because it says unconditionally create a fealty token. Obviously, it's not actually unconditionally, but if you are desperate for the go again and for the 0 cost reaction, it can give you that on the first dagger. If you get to keep it as an extra card, you can give go again to the second dagger, get yourself a fealty token, get 1 step closer to that 3 fealty threshold, and then close the turn out on some chain ender. This just sort of checks all of the boxes, uh, and because you want to hit the 3 fealty threshold and be attacking with daggers for 0, the 0 cost reactions again all get bonus value because they let you play 1 card hands that go you know
You
5 to
can think
7
of
damage
this,
wide.
once you have your fealty, you can just think of this as a um, uh, 0/4 go again. Because you're attacking with your dagger for 1, and then you can play Firm Loyalty, we give it +2, but then Obsidian Firebane is going to give itself +1 and go again for playing a Draconic card in that link. So you just spent 1 card from hand to attack for 4 go again, which means now you can swing with the other dagger, so 5 go again, or 4 into 1 off of 1 card, which is incredible. But then if you're able to, like Kevin said, play it on the second chain link, just instantly creating fealty. See, unlike Ninja, where I didn't really care about like generating fealty a bunch or getting the on hit mark, that's the only thing I want to be doing with Fang is am I making fealty this turn? Am I marking them this turn? Uh, if not, like my turn's going badly if that's not happening.
Yeah. Yep. uh but yeah, so A's across the board here. um Next up is a similar but different shaped version, Endear Devotion. It's a 1 cost version that bumps by 3 instead of 2. So definitely the worse of the two, but another way to potentially make unconditional fealty if you to use it on the second chain link or higher. Um, I gave it a B plus. You gave it a B. Fealty's great. Get your 3 fealty. Um,
Yeah, the only reason this one isn't an A because it costs 1, so it doesn't work with your like end game
yeah,
move of like blocking with cards and then reacting for 0. But it notably does have +3 and not +2 on it, which means that now your dagger that you put that on is coming for 5 instead of 4, which is a pretty big deal
yeah,
with the
because
different equipments and the reactions that exist in this set.
when you come in with that first dagger for 1, everyone assumes you're going to react. It's going to be coming in at least for 2. All the 0 cost, just about all the 0 cost ones just do 2 power increase, so it is frequently just going to look like 4 power. And it's just pumping that first dagger to 5 instead of 4 will just let you chip a little more extra damage through over the course as you go. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, as you said, once the engine's online, you don't really want to be pitching, so it's the worst option of the two.
yeah.
Uh, Here we got the juice. absolutely A's. And honestly, like this might be A plus material. Fire and Brimstone. Draconic Warrior attack reaction, 3 block, costs 2. It is legendary, but again, that only matters for constructed. This costs 1 resource less to play for each Draconic chain link you control. Daggers you control get +1 power, and you may attack with each of them an additional time this turn. Uh, so at worst, um, like if this is your only reaction you have, because you're going to swing with that initial dagger, this only costs 1. Um, so if you have spoiler alert on one of the equipment, there is a draconic chest equipment that you can break as an action to get 1 resource. It makes you only play draconic things for the remainder of the turn, but you can turn Fire and Brimstone into a 1 card play that lets you swing all of your daggers. Or no, we wouldn't have the go again for that.
You'd have to get me up.
Dang.
This is via the Vanguard. This is my end game. This is my I'm sticking this in Arsenal. I'm like waiting until I have a hand that has 3 reactions in it, or uh, two reactions in it, and I am going to take whatever they throw at me, swing, like break the chess piece, play this for free. I've got 3 fealty. I'm gonna like swing 4 times with three different reactions, this being one of them, and my opponent will be dead.
From the top rope.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'm a crazy person, and it doesn't give you go again on everything, but it is very strong.
yeah.
Yeah, not a card that you should be passing, basically.
If it gets past to you, you should be playing Fang.
Yep, you're the person to that side. Either they also opened like a foil one, uh, or they're crazy, or they hate Fang. Who knows? I don't know. Some people just really be hating warriors.
That's okay. They can they can pass them to me. I'll play it.
All right, so moving to the commons. Again, we're going to have a lot of pretty similar shaped cards, a lot of 0 for 2s that either at reaction speed that conditionally can be 3 or they do something else. A lot of 1 for 3s that can be 1 for 4 or very conditional 1 for 4 reactions. But this first one is Blistering Blade. Draconic Warrior attack reaction. 2 block, 0 cost. Target dagger attack gets +2. If you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, instead it gets +3. So it's like second swing, except it's more flexible because it can be a slightly smaller first swing.
Yeah, the fact it costs 0, that's great, and the fact it might be able to get you +3 is great. So
Yep.
we
Bees across the board, solid pickup. Fits really well with the late game. Um, Next up, we have Brothers of Flame. This is a 3 block, 1 cost Draconic Warrior attack reaction. Play this only if you control 2 or more Draconic chain links. Target dagger attack gets +4. Um, so I haven't looked into it closely enough to have an idea of if I think there's actually a uh, sort of a Fang deck that is trying to be this deck that like is actually cool with pitching because they're going over rate on a bunch of reactions. Uh, Remains to be seen for personally, but yeah, not if you're trying to do the fealty engine Fang build, this doesn't fit in quite as smoothly. But it is a 3 block, and
I think
4
uh
reaction speed's good.
yeah, I put this at C because it's not a free reaction, so I don't always want to see it. I would take the free ones over it. But where this gets fantastic is if you have a draconic attack to start with, um, like Hunt to the End of the Rape, which we will get to. But that is just a draconic attack that has go again. Now you swing with your dagger, pitching 1 because you don't have your fealties yet. And then now you're playing Brothers of Flame off that blue. So now your dagger's going up to 6, gets to go again, and you get to use your last resource swing for 1. So that's just a 3-card 9, which like isn't fantastic. But if you are at the point where you have the 3 fealties, okay, now this card just blocks through.
Mhm. True that. Um, Next up, Dynastic Dedication. 2 block Draconic Warrior attack reaction. Costs 2, but gets its cost reduced for each Draconic Chain Link you control. Target dagger attack gets +3. So if you are leading off on a dagger, this is a 1 cost +3 reaction. If you get to save this to use on your second dagger, it's a 0 for 3 at reaction speed that's giving you an extra action point. So if you are fortunate enough to have plenty of other 0 cost reactions and a smattering of some of the Wing Blow 0 for 4 cards in the deck, you can go sort of 4 power dagger into 5 power dagger into 0 for 4 off of 3 cards if your fealty engine's up and running. And that's really, really great rate for limited. So, uh, it's still just a 2 block. It's not always going to be that incredible. I gave it a C plus. Alex gave it a C. Um,
Yeah, the fact it doesn't cost 0 means I don't think it can be a B. So it's just like high C, very very modal.
yeah. Um,
Up next is Imperial Intent, which has similar templating. Draconic Warrior reaction blocks 2, cost 1. This costs 1 less to play for each Draconic chain link you control. Target dagger gets +2. Um, so even if you're starting on a dagger, that's a Draconic chain link, so this will be free. And then it's just a 0 +2. That's what you want to be doing. So that's the B for me.
yep, same.
Cool. We've
Next
got
up, Scalding Iron.
you reading it or am I reading it?
Well, now you can read it.
Okay.
Took a
Scalding
second to
Iron.
load for my overlay
Okay.
thing.
Gotcha. Uh, Scalding Iron, Draconic Warrior reaction, 2 blocks, 0 cost. Target dagger attack gets +X, where X is the number of Draconic links you control. This, if you're playing it on the first dagger, is strictly worse than the other 0 cost ones. But if you're playing it on the second one, or you have other Draconic things, or you're able to like swing a dagger like more than twice, there are some cards that let you swing daggers an additional time. This scales really hard. I was able to play this as a 0 for 5 in one of my games that I've played, and it
Gross.
was very gross. So um, it it's not the first one that I'm looking to pick up, but the more Draconic attack actions with Go Again that you have, the way better this gets.
Yep. Lower floor,
Also,
highest ceiling.
yep.
Uh, Next up is Searing Gaze. Draconic Warrior attack reaction, 2 block, 0 cost. Target dagger attack gets +2. If you control 2 or more chain links, it gets when it hits a hero, mark them. Um, B plus is what we rated it. Uh, it's solid. It does marking things. It fits into your I want to have cards that cost nothing from hand. Uh, just solid role player. Has all the checks all the right boxes outside of being a 2 block. But you're fine. You're not trying to block. You're trying to out
Yeah.
aggress people with your fire veins.
Yeah. Great.
Next up,
does
Sisters.
does it have 0 in the top right? Yeah. It's great.
Next up, we got Sisters of Fire. Is a 0 cost 3 block attack reaction. Target dagger gets +3. Play this only if you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links. So this is the slightly better-ish version of Brothers of Flame. If you've reached the part where you're like, okay, cool, I have my fealty, my daggers are free, then this scales nicely with like, okay, I get to hold 3 cards. Here's my initial 0 for 2 to give the first dagger go again. Here's my 0 for 3 to give the second dagger go again, and then I can end on a 0 for 4 or something. Um, so it's kind of good modally, but the fact that it's not a starter defense react or attack reaction for you is uh, less ideal. But at the same time, it's still
That hurts, but it blocks 3.
yep,
So
yeah, blocks
can't play
3.
on the first dagger, which hurts, but it does block 3.
Yep, C plus. Give that one. Sizzling steel. Target dagger gets +3. If you control 2 or more draconic chain links, instead it gets +4. So uh, it's a 1 cost, 2 block attack reaction. Uh, C's across the board. It will
Cost
be
1,
it.
therefore it's a C.
Yeah, it's flexible. It's got extra upside, but it's not a 0 cost. So um, fine, but not spectacular. And then last but not least for the Draconic Warrior commons, we have Stabbing Pain. This is a 1 cost, 2 block attack reaction. Target dagger attack gets +3. If you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, this gets City Hero, mark them. So it is a slightly worse version of Searing Gaze from a cost
Yep.
standpoint.
Is that what, 1 on the top right? Yep, it's a C.
That's it. That's the rule the whole way down. Uh, all right. So moving into the vanilla warrior cards. Start off with rare diced. 0 cost. 2 block. Warrior attack reaction. Target dagger attack gets +1. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +3. This is an excellent use of a spare fealty. And that is my lone note for this card.
Yeah, obviously I wish this card blocked 3 because I wish everything blocked 3. But like Kevin said, if you got 4 fealty, then you can turn this Draconic to turn on your dagger to go again. Then you're swinging 3 into 4, which is pretty good. One card 7, just like we were talking about Hunt's End being. Um, and also just like if you get to keep an extra card, it's just 4 more damage on your dagger's reaction speed, which is good. Um, but sometimes you need to block.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good complement. Like you want this to be your second attack reaction in your hand. You want like one of the 0 cost draconic ones sort of in every hand, and then you want it to be augmented by these ones with slightly better rate, but that don't have the draconic text for you.
yeah,
B's across the board on diced. Uh, Definitely that one falls off a cliff when it's not red, but the red is pretty good.
yeah.
Uh, Except we have twist and turn. Warrior action, 0 cost, 3 block. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +4, and when this hits, you may attack with it an additional time this turn. C's across the board. It is a pre-buff that can't give your dagger go again. You know, being a 3 block is good, but it doesn't facilitate the go again surprise, air quote surprise, given that there's so many reactions in the set. Surprise damage that you're doing. It's certainly, if you get to keep a big hand and you're loaded with fealty and like get to keep a big hand, twist and turn can be particularly devastating. Because you're like, okay, cool. Well, I'll come in for 4 that I can react to, or come in for 5, do any sort of reaction, pumps it to like 8 or 9,
8.
depending on what the reaction is. Get to swing with it again, but like this card being good scales with how many cards you get to hold, uh, and it's limited, so you're
The
going to be
effect
blocking a
does.
lot.
Even if it was just blank and it's just give your dagger +4, this card blocks 3, which is what another card does just a little bit down the line. Um, you're probably thinking, Alex, like that's a great 1 card hand. You've got your fealty up and running. It's just a like 1 card 5. Yes, but if you're not playing draconic cards, you're gonna lose all your fealty. So you need another card, or to just make this draconic and just waste a fealty on it. Um, so it is good. It is. I think the blue is awesome because blue 3 block. Um, but like Kevin said, to get the most out of this card, you're gonna need a big hand, which you can't always have in limited.
Yep. Next up, we have 1/3 of Blood on Her Hands. There's a cycle that is Agility Stance, Flurry Stance, and Power Stance. Um, they are not stellar and limited, but they are neat. They're all 3 blocks. Um, Agility Stance is they're all 0 cost 3 blocks. There's one of each color. Agility Stance has go again, and then at the start of your turn, destroy this. Your dagger attacks get go again this turn. Flurry Stance is a red 0 cost that when it destroys at the start of turn, you can attack with each dagger an additional time. That is probably more of a good constructed effect than limited effect, given how Fang is getting go again on his daggers. Um, Agility and Flurry, we both gave D's for the format, just not blue black threes. And then Power Stance, I think we each gave C's to just because it's a blue block three, and that will always have a
Yeah,
little extra premium for you. Power Stance is at the start of your turn, destroy this, then your dagger attacks get +1 this turn. Um, it's the most likely of the three of them to actually maybe get a little bit of value if you play it out, but you're probably just not ever actually playing this card out unless you rip it on turn 0 or something. Um, so yeah, C to Power Stance. To the Warrior Commons, which we have Cut Deep. This is the card Alex alluded to earlier. Warrior action, 3 block, 0 cost. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +4. Go again. 0 for 4. Makes your dagger look like a 1 for 5 if you don't have anything else to go with it. C's across the board. Solid but unspectacular.
yeah. As I will say for the next 5 cards we talk about, it's blue. At blue, it's block 3.
Hmm?
Love that.
Yeah. Next up, Hunt a Killer. One
And the reason,
cost. Oh, go
eh,
ahead.
obviously, blue block threes are just good in general, but the reason they're really good in Fang is because you need the blues early to be able to pay for your daggers before you have your fealty engine online. But once your daggers are free, you want to be blocking with your blue cards. So you want them to block for 3. That's big reason why
Yup.
that 3 blocks matter.
Yeah. More than just the average, oh yeah, blue block 3. It's good because it blocks 3 as well.
Yeah,
Really more specifically a part of the game plan than usual, too.
yeah.
Uh, Alright. Hunt a Killer. 3 block, 1 cost, warrior action. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +4, and when this hits a hero, mark them. This is pretty decent, like in red in the early game before you've got your fealty going. Falls off once the engine's going, but again, it's a 3 block. So we gave C's to this one. Knife through butter. Uh, Very similar shaped card as the last one. Next dagger gets +4. Whenever you attack a marked hero this turn, the attack gets go again. So it's like a front buffing go again if they are already marked. Um, it's a 1 cost, so it's doesn't necessarily fit super well. 3 block. Um, C's for Hunt a Killer, Knife through
The
butter.
the one notable thing for knife through butter and the next card we're talking about, point of engagement, the effect of when you attack a marked hero this turn, your attack gets go again. This obviously is giving +4 to your dagger, so then you can swing for 5, go again. If they block 5 and they're still marked, you could play uh, for the Drakai, the 0 for 4, block 3, we'll get to in a minute. But that will gain go again because it is attacking a marked hero.
That's cool. Pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So it's not just your daggers, but obviously if they let your dagger hit and become unmarked, then that dagger will still have go again, but whatever you're going to do after that will not have go again because they're not marked anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was knife butter. Next up, point of engagement. 0 costs, warrior action, 3 block. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +3. Until end of turn, your attacks get +1 while attacking a marked hero. Go again. So theoretically, if they are marked, this is a 0 for 4. But probably worse than the other 0 for 4s we've seen. Um, yeah, C minus here. Um,
Yep.
it's a 3
And
block.
also,
It's a
it
3
does
block
the
emblem.
if they're at 1 health and they can't afford to become unmarked, then this gets like some points because now all your attacks are just gonna have +1 this turn because they can't let it hit.
True. Yeah. Yeah. All right, and the last war common we have is Sworn Vengeance. 0 cost, warrior action, 3 block. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +3, and when this hits a hero, mark them. Go again. Uh,
Great.
yeah, very solid. I gave it a B minus. You gave it a B. The 0 cost is great. It means it scales with your hand very nicely, even when your fealty engine is turned on. Um, +3 and marking them is good because you've got so many reactions that it's very feasible for you to react over the top to make sure the mark connects, and you can keep building your field. So fine rate for a sharpened steel.
Yep.
All right, getting to our first chunk of equipment, I'm going to skip over cycle for a moment and go to Coat of Allegiance. This card is an A. When you can get a free resource on an equipment, that tends to be extremely good. Code of Allegiance is Draconic Equipment Chest. Action, destroy this, gain a resource. Until end of turn, you may only play cards that are Draconic. Go again. This compares pretty favorably to Sash of Sandakai from Uprising. Um, it's just good. This is an extra card in hand in a clutch moment. Um, it leaves you open still to 2 heroes too, so taking it early, you're not just like closing the door on. It's not like picking one of the specific class bombs that we talked about. Um,
And fealty being able to make any card that you're playing Draconic means that the cost of this is not as high if you have the fealty
yeah,
to
yep. Code of
pick
Allegiance,
up.
Fealty, one of those ninja cards that's a 1 for 5 that wants to be Draconic. No problem. Works great. A's across the board here. This is very pack one, pick oneable. Um, Probably be pretty
Yeah.
highly sought after for that reason. But the Draconic suite of equipment is all very anti-Arachne focused. So we have Vow of Vengeance, Heart of Vengeance, Hand of Vengeance, and Path of Vengeance. So Vow, they all have Blade Break 1 to start, and then they all have a Arachne specific ability on them. So Vow of Vengeance has attack reaction, destroy this, mark target Arachne. Pretty simple, but relevant into 1/3 of the heroes you're facing. Heart of Vengeance, uh, instant, destroy this. Your next attack this turn that targets Arachne costs 1 less to play or activate. Compares favorably to Coat of Allegiance if you're playing specifically Arachne. Um, Hand of Vengeance, attack reaction, destroy this. Target attack that is attacking an Arachne gets +1. And then Path of Vengeance. Attack reaction, destroy this. Target attack that is attacking Arachne gets go again. Super specific. Uh, if there's 4 Arachnes in your draft pod, these will all look insane. The floor of Blade Break 1 is fine,
Fine.
solid. It's an extra point of life that you're playing the game with, which is cool. Helps cover breakpoints, which is cool. Uh, but I don't think these abilities are. I don't know. I don't like this cycle personally because of how specific they are, and I think just
Yeah,
like the generic options are a bit better than these.
I agree.
So I gave C minus across the board just because equipment still does tend to have a little bit of a premium, but I think these are probably the
you want
worst
an
of the
equipment piece
bunch.
for each slot,
Yeah,
but you I think you'd rather have the
I,
other equipment than these.
I don't think
Unless
none of these are best in slot for any of the heroes. I think, but better than nothing. But still, not.
I think if you're playing Fang, you want the headpiece because you want to be able to mark them as a reaction. But again, it's only against Arachne, so
Yeah. Um, all right. Well, moving into the mono draconic cards, and then after that we have some hybrid cards. So because warrior and ninja share their draconic talent, there are draconic cards that can be shared by both of those, and then assassin has some split cards. So there are assassin warrior cards and assassin ninja cards split. So there's three different shared pools of cards to pull from depending on which class is. Um,
yep.
so starting us off in the draconic territory, we have compounding anger, which is a 5 power, 3 block, 3 cost attack, draconic attack action that costs 1 less to play for each draconic chain link you control. Um,
If you squint really hard, you can see lava burst. Because
uh,
if you're playing this as Rupture, then it will be free. If you squint hard enough, you could see it. But
yeah,
it does have the upside of it's always going to be 5. Obviously, you don't really want to pay 3 for it ever. But like if you're playing Ninja, Kunai for 1, Kunai for 1, 5, card 7.
yeah, it's fine. I don't think I like squinting to look for lava burst quite as hard. Uh, I think it's like I just think it's a worse payoff than a lot of the other payoffs that um, Ninja has access to, and
That's fair.
and it's a when the Fang engine is going, it's not a card that really fits into that scheme super well. So you have another like 0 for 4 go again thing to put with it. I gave it a C. It's fine. Uh, it will perform admirably, but not you know break the game in half for you.
Yep.
Next we got Hunt to the Ends of Wraith. 0 for 2 Draconic attack action, 2 block. This attacks Arachne, mark them. If this is attacking a marked hero, this gets +2. So if you mark your opponent at instant speed, this will dynamically adjust the power and be 4 power. And then it has go again unconditionally. Always has go again. So pretty solid here. If you are drafting your deck pretty well, you probably have a decent number of ways to mark opposing heroes. And then suddenly this looks a lot like Blaze Headlong that can start your turn. That said, it's not always the case. I gave it a B-. You gave it a B.
I think I think Fang loves this card a lot. Um, because even if you don't get the +2, it's a first Draconic attack link, which means that your first dagger can be one of those that, hey, if this is your second Draconic, mark them or create a fealty instantly. Um, that being able to be on your like first dagger to then give it go again and swing the second dagger, but then also get the secondary effect, I think is amazing. Best thing you can be doing. So I think if you're playing Fang, you want this, even if it's only ever attacking for 2. It's getting you like more value on the back end of the cards that you're pairing with it later.
Yep. Uh, Next we've got March of Loyalty. Uh, 0 for 4, or it's a wounding blow, draconic wounding blow. 0 for 4, 3 block. If you create a fealty token this turn, this gets go again. Uh, I think I like this a little bit better than Hunt to the Ends of Wraith personally. Just because the where the floor is. Uh, B's across the board here. It's solid. It's synergistic. arguments. Uh,
Yep.
Next one, yeah, no arguments. You cannot disagree with me. This card. Next we have Bubble to the Surface. Draconic instant costs 2, but costs 1 resource less for each Draconic chain link you control. Reveal cards from the top of your deck until you've a red card. Banish it. You may play it this turn. Shuffle. Um, I gave it a C minus. You gave it a D. You're not super eager to take this, but if you have plenty of red zeros in your deck, uh, it can give you it can read like a extra action point basically. If you use the first one to give your first dagger go again, and you draw and you like hit another red reaction off the top of the deck, um, or just a 0 for 4 or something. I don't know. It's not ideal, but I think it can be a glue piece in a pinch that is not the worst thing going on.
Not crazy about it.
Yeah, fair. It's definitely worse than the follow up, which is Drop of Dragon Blood. Legendary, but that only matters in constructed. The Draconic instant, 2 cost. This costs 1 resource less to play for each Draconic chain link you control. Gain a resource, draw a card. Um, yeah, it's kind of a weird, like gluey kind of card. Um, the fact that you draw the card is better than banishing it and maybe being able to play it this turn because you can, um, hidden information, you can arsenal it, whatever. Um, and just gaining a resource for your trouble here is instead of costing you an extra one is pretty good.
I
Um,
think um, this is like really good if you have a Draconic starter like Hunt to the Ends of Wraith and can play this on your like first dagger, but it's free, so you're just gaining a resource. Then and drawing a card. So if you draw a reaction, cool, you can play it on your next dagger swing. If you draw like an attack that costs 1, like a 1 for 5, um, then you can then pay for it because you've gained a resource. You can also play it on your second dagger, knowing that either you're going to draw a reaction and um, be able to play it that chain link, or you can arsenal it. Or if you draw like a chain ender, your dagger has go again from playing this. So you can like play a March of Loyalty at the end. I like drawing a card better than banishing it and possibly playing it because you can always just put it in Arsenal.
yep, agree completely. Next up, we have a resounding D. Rake over the coals. 0 cost Draconic instant. Draconic attacks get +1 this turn. Not, not here. Not about that. It just doesn't. It doesn't do enough, and it's a liability as a non-block.
I think if you're rolling with Syndra and going 4 or 5 wide, then all of a sudden it's like pretty good.
It's a good 4th or
But
5th card in a hand that you're keeping the whole hand.
yeah, it doesn't block.
Yep.
So
Pass.
yeah,
uh, all right. Next, we come back to an uprising favorite, Blaze Headlong, a Blaze Hedgehog. Uh, I gave this an A minus. You gave it a B. You're incredibly rare that you'd be disappointed to come across this card. It's it's pack one, pick oneable. Keeps you open to 2 heroes possibly. Um, and 0 for 4 go again is a recipe for success.
yep.
Next up, we have the Sword of Cycle for the Drakai, for the Emperor, and for the Realm. For the Drakai is a Wounding Blow. For the Emperor is a Critical Strike. For the Realm is a Brutal Assault. So 0 for 4, 1 for 5, 2 for 6, 3 blocks. And they all have, when this attacks a marked hero, create a fealty token. Um, I gave an A minus to For the Drakai, a B plus to For the Emperor, and a B to For the Realm. just for how those fit, how I imagine those fit with the various cost curves of the decks. Um, that said, getting unconditional fealty that doesn't remove the mark from the hero you're attacking is very good. Because there's a chance that these let you double up on fealty, so that makes them particularly potent early in Fang. And then honestly, the rate on them is fine. The cards that they are riffs on uh, are decent in their own right.
Building blocks.
Yep.
I like them all. I don't really like For the Realm. The 2 cost I feel like doesn't really fit into any of the cost curves of the Draconic stuff. And then like if if you're gonna be attacking for 6, the difference between them blocking 5, a 1 for 5, or blocking 6, like is still giving 2 cards. So
True.
you're like,
For
if
the
you have the
realm,
choice between For the Realm and For the Emperor, I'm taking For the Emperor every time.
agreed. I do agree it's the worst of the three. It is notably, I believe, the only 2 for 6 in the set.
Yep.
Fun fact. All right. Next up, we've got
Because Hunt's End is just a 1 card 6.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Uh, Hunt the Hunter is a draconic critical strike. When this attacks a hero, if you've played another red card this turn, mark them. Uh, it is good because it's additional on things that you have control of, so it's a pretty decent way to mark your opponent. Um, it is less good than the ones that create a fealty because marking your opponent is just not as good as ending up with a fealty, generally speaking. But, again, critical strike as the floor is pretty solid. Both gave this one B.
Yep. Good.
Much, much stronger card. The next one is Smokeout. Zero cost draconic defense reaction, 3 defense, and it says when this defends a red card, mark the attacking hero. Uh, Marking your opponent while doing something you already wanted to do, blocking 3, and potentially at reaction speed is really strong. Um,
Yeah. Marking them on defense is great. No interaction. No, I'm gonna block this so you can't mark me. Nope. You played a red. You attack me with a red card.
yeah.
Big mistake.
Yeah, pack one, pick one a bowl. We both gave it an A. It's very strong. Um,
We're talking defense reactions can't go below a B, and this is
Much better
defense
than
reaction with
that.
upside.
Yeah. Next card we have uh, is really cool looking, but relatively sucky in the grand scheme of how this set all shapes together. Blessing of Venzerikai, Draconic Action Aura, 2 block, 0 cost. You play it, it does not have go again. At the start of your turn, destroy this, then your next attack this turn is Draconic and gets +3. Um, Turning something Draconic can be good, but I don't think this does quite enough. Like I don't think, at least the way things have played out so far, the value of turning something Draconic via this card rather than using fealty for it is pretty limited upside. Not zero, but this is not a card that either of us really want to be drafting or ending up with in our decks.
There is one draft archetype where I actually want this card, and it is the Cheerio Syndra. I'm not paying for my kunai. I'm just playing all the head jabs, all the 0 cost stuff. So
every
then
every hand is 12
everything has
value
everything
unlimited.
yeah, everything has go again, and then I'll end on this card. So that way my next turn, my first attack is Draconic. So now like all the stuff that's if this is second Draconic Chain Link gets go again. All that stuff is on.
Yep,
But other than that, other than
not great.
drafting that deck specifically, I don't really want this card.
Yeah. Next up, Fang glue piece that Syndra doesn't really want to touch with a 10-foot pole. Pledge fealty. Draconic instant, 0 cost. Literally just says create a fealty token. Um, Really, really nice to see on the earliest turns as Fang. A little less nice to see on later turns as Fang, but beggars can't be choosers. Um, Unconditional
Perfect turn
fealty.
0 card.
Yeah, perfect turn 0 card for sure. C's because it doesn't block and it really is only a Fang card. Uh, Next up is Proclaim Vengeance. Draconic instant, 0 cost. Mark target opposing hero. If that hero is Arachne, gain a resource. Um, Instant speed unconditional marking is pretty good, but it's on a red instant, which is not good. I gave this a D. Alex gave it a C. It's not stellar. This will be around near the end of packs for sure. And then rounding out the Draconic suite, Tooth of the Dragon, 0 cost Draconic instant. Your next Draconic attack this turn gets +3. Uh, it's I gave it a C minus. Alex gave it a C.
It's
It
the
is
sidestep card.
serviceable.
It's we're low life totals. I'm playing Fang. I attack you for 1. You're trying to think, well, it's just gonna go to 4 because most of the reactions like give a +2. All right, I'll block 4 on this, and then I go, okay, I'm gonna play Tooth of the Dragon, which will give it go again and +1, but gives my next attack +3. So now you've just used 2 cards to block 2 damage. I get go again. I swing with the second dagger for 4. Now you got to give me 2 more cards.
Yep. Probably don't
That's
ever
the
want to end up with more than one of these in your deck, but the situation Alex just described can certainly be useful.
It can also be potentially played before like Blaze Hedgehog. So that's just 2 cards. 7 would go again if you need it to be.
Yeah, fair, fair. Uh, all right. It's the end of Draconic. Now we are on the Assassin Ninja hybrid cards. We're over the 2 hour mark now, but let's see, we only have two thirds of the shared card pool. Problem is, well, no, these are cycles, so these will actually go pretty quick once we're into them. The Draconic stuff took a while because they're all one ofs. Um,
Is it time for balloons?
Not yet, not balloon time yet.
Not not balloon time. Okay.
Now we've got the Leapfrog suite of equipment. They are Assassin Ninja hybrid equipment. There's one for each slot. They all have Blade Break 1, and they all have the text, when an opponent plays or activates an attack reaction, you may add this to the active chain link as a defending card. So, Leapfrog Vocal Sack. Your opponent is Fang. They attack you for 1. Put Leapfrog Vocal Sack in front of it. They act, and you're like, yeah, whatever. Or even better, maybe they swing, you put a card in front of it, they pump it to 4. Cool. Leapfrog comes in front. Now I'm blocking 4-on-4. Awesome. They swing another dagger, and they have a reaction that says, this needs to be played on the second Draconic chain link, or can't be played at all if it's not the second or higher Draconic chain link. Um, they swing that dagger. They react again. You can pull Leapfrog Vocal Sack or any of these Leapfrog equipments from the first chain link onto the second chain link and get 2 defense value out of it in one go.
If you're playing against someone and they block with the leapfrog, and if you can afford to, close the chain, because then they can't
Yep.
do the jumping stuff.
Yes, indeed. But with the various hoops to jump through on that, it is at least into warriors, I guess, and assassins also. They have plenty of reactions. It's pretty within the realm of possibility to get 2 points of value out of these. I gave them B's across the board, but you don't want 4 of these. You probably just want like 1. I think
I
you
think
want
too.
you think 2? Okay,
I think too.
that's reasonable. You can double up on them if you want, or
I, I
hit
think I think
breakpoints
it's
two
I think
different
it's
times.
I think it's best where um, Fang, for example, goes, okay, here's dagger for 1. Like I'm really low life total, or there's an on hit on this, like marking me. All right, I'm gonna block it with 3 block. And they go, okay, here's the 0 for 2, gonna give it go again, it goes up to 4. Like, nope, I'm gonna leapfrog, and now I just block 4 with my 1 card. Didn't get the 2 value out of it, but now I don't get marked. this chain, so I don't have to worry about being marked and you making a field to you this whole turn. Uh, I think that's
Yeah, that makes sense.
a good platform.
Yeah, I think this the leapfrog stuff, while not as I don't think it's exactly going to end up like the Keikoi, but I think they will be similarly sought after. They're not essential for an archetype the way Keikoi were essential for Enigma in MST, but like everyone will want 1 to 2 of these for sure. Um,
Yeah.
uh, but yeah, so it's leapfrog, vocal sack, frog, slime skin, leapfrog gloves, and leapfrog leggings are that cycle. But they all have the same text and fair game for ninja or assassin. Also fair game for ninja or assassin, we have danger digits. This got a resounding A from everybody. Uh, it is an arm equipment with an attack reaction. Destroy this target dagger you control that isn't on the active chain. It's a one-time flick knives. Destroy a dagger, hit them with it for 1, unpreventable. Destroy the dagger. Um,
I think it's the best equipment in the set.
I believe that. I think there's enough. I don't know. There's enough incentive to be breaking the daggers and other payoffs that are like the one Arachne transformation, uh, daggers hitting you lose an extra point of life. Like I had that happen to me where they swung both daggers and then they danger digits on the same turn, and I had already been in no block territory, so like they got 3 extra value off of life loss from daggers and stuff. And uh, yeah, the sitting on board aspect of danger digits is very potent. Um, yeah, very pack one, pick oneable. Very much can put you into okay, cool. I guess I'm not playing warrior this time because I have danger digits in my first pack.
Yep.
Um, cool. So moving to the assassin ninja gestics, we have 1 bomb that we marked as pain in the backside. It's a 0 for 3 with go again, 2 block attack action. This hits a hero, target dagger you control. Yeah, if this hits, it flicks a dagger at their face. Which
No, it
oh right, no,
deals
this is the one
damage to
that
them
doesn't
and it
break.
has
Oh my
hit,
god.
but it doesn't break the dagger. That's
Yeah.
why it's a bomb. Because you don't have to worry about trying to re-equip your stuff. It just you just get the effect um, of the dagger hitting. So it's a 0 for 3, go again, but deals 1 mostly unpreventable damage and can give you the hit effect of one of your daggers.
Hmm. Thank goodness Alex is here to keep me in check. I would just be lying to everybody. Uh, all right, yeah. So pain in the backside, pretty good. Throw dagger is fine. It's blue block 3, but it's just fine. Uh, got our rares starting with cut through. 0 for 3, 2 block attack action. If you've hit with a dagger, this combat chain, this gets +1 and go again. It compares pretty favorably to Blaze Headlong. Um, for is you're gonna love this in red. You're gonna like it in other colors a fair bit less. We both gave it a B.
Yeah, I think the red is great and it falls off pretty quick.
Yep, yep, agreed. Um, next up, we've got the card that got Zephyr Needle banned. Up sticks and run, which is an assassin ninja action, 2 block, 0 cost. You may retrieve a dagger from your graveyard, which means you can pay 1 resource to equip it from your graveyard. Your next dagger this turn gets +4. Go again. So, you have flicked for a point of value and marked the opposing hero. Well, you can up sticks and run and re-equip your Huntsman dagger and give it +4. And it being a 1 cost play, it works really well with a 2 cost dagger and then all of the subsequent 0 cost stealth cards and things. So, up sticks is kind of a messed up card. Um, I think it's fine in yellow too, just because the daggers are all 1 power, so it's still
Every color. I'll take this in every
yeah,
color I can get it
fair.
in.
Cards just
I
just good.
when I'm playing Arachne, I want a lot of re-equipping so that when I and hitting with the dagger, I have no fear just flicking it and like getting my marks rolling. So I'm wanting, well, as many of this card as I can get, honestly. And then the next card, pick up the point, a head jab, if you will, 0 for 3, block 2, go again. When this attacks, you may retrieve a dagger from your graveyard, pay 1 to equip it. Um, it's a like very similar effect, but instead of giving +4 to the next dagger, it's just an attack by itself that attacks for 3. Um, I really like the red one of pick up the point,
Yeah,
and
it's very strong.
yeah,
Excellent head jab variant. Weird looking card, but that has been pretty potent, seen and heard, is Poisoned Blade. It's a 1 cost, 3 power, go again, attack action, 2 block, but it says whenever a dagger you own hits a hero this combat chain, they lose a life. So really potent with the kunai, really potent with flicking effects and getting extra value out of those flick effects. So it's a 1 for 3 at face value that very easily be a for 4, 5, or 6, depending on what else you've got going on for the turn.
yep,
Good in red, but falls off on the other.
yep.
Then the last common cycle for Assassin Ninja is throw yourself at them. Sorry, we gave Poison Blade, Bees, uh, pick up
Mostly
the
because of the
point,
red.
Seize. Yeah, mostly because of the red. Um, throw yourself at them. We gave Seize. That's a 1 for 3, go again. When this attacks a hero, you may have target dagger. Okay, this one flicks. This one flicks a dagger and destroys the dagger.
Yes.
Um, but it has to hit, and it costs 1 to do it. So Seize. It's solid but unspectacular.
It does not have to hit.
Oh my god, I just can't read. I just
It's just a one for
I'm just
three.
gonna
Go
force
again.
Fang. Everything is reaction speed and whatever, man.
All these cards are red.
Assassins are dumb. This is too complicated. Get out of here. Let me just count my rune chance. Uh, all right, and then closing out this hybrid section, we have Layer of the Spider, Assassin Ninja Defense Reaction, Trap, Free Defense, only comes in red. When this defends an attack with Go Again, mark the attacking hero. A's across the board. Marking your opponent when you are defending for full value out of a card is excellent. Lots and lots of things in this set and format have Go Again, so this card is very, very good. If you are a Draconic Ninja, you can play this and the Draconic one, and they're just both phenomenal.
Yep. I had 3 of these in my Syndrome pool.
All right, Assassin Warrior hybrid time. We're going to start with a cycle of equipment here. The Red Alert cycle. There's Red Alert visor, vest, gloves, and boots. They all have Blade Break 1. They all have the same uh, bonus text, which is if an attack reaction has been played or activated, this chain link, this gets +1. And they're all Blade Break 1. So if you put Red Alert Visor in front of a Fang dagger, and they uh, do a reaction, suddenly this Red Alert Visor is blocking for 2 on that dagger, which is pretty good. I think these are worse than the leapfrogs, and I think also probably worse than the generic cycle. But I think they're better than the draconic cycle on average.
Yeah.
More likely to just get 2 value out of this one time. They're not quite as flexible as some of the other options.
Yeah, if you're playing Assassin, you want the Leapfrog stuff. If you're playing Warrior, I guess you'll take these. But you'd rather have
Yeah.
the generic ones that we'll get to.
Mm-hmm. And then the really good, I think these are pretty good if I recall correctly. Yeah, starting point. Uh, Common legs, they don't block, but attack reaction, destroy this. Target attack gets Go Again. Activate only if you played a card or activated an ability this reaction step. Uh, Go again on
Hey,
boots. Name a more iconic duo.
hey, you know what? You know what you can activate in the reaction step? A fealty token. You want to go again on anything? Oh, you got an extra fealty token? Cool. Here's the.
Yep.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Don't need
Uh,
any extra cards in hand. You just like have fealty sitting on the board.
yeah. A minus territory. Very good. Still keeps you open. Uh,
Yep.
Probably best in this slot, I think. Like if this is best in slot if you're an assassin or a warrior, I think.
Yep. I would agree.
Um, all right, on to the Majestics. We've got one bomb, Savor Bloodshed. Zero cost, 3 block, assassin warrior action. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +4. The next time you hit a marked hero with a dagger this turn, draw a card. Um, this, in a weird way, is a snatch variant. It's not quite as easily taken advantage of, but the floor of it is still pretty solid, so it's fine. It's definitely worth taking and playing because the upside is very high. Um,
There's also a few things that mark at instant speed, like we saw some of the assassin stuff do. So you can pretend to play this just for value, the 0 for 4. And then when they say no blocks or just block 3 on it, then you can discard something to mark them. And oh yeah, I'm also going to draw a card.
yeah, which at that point the thing you're doing at instant speed to mark them is just like cycling that card for a different card, which isn't necessarily stellar, but if you're getting other value for hitting a marked hero at the same time, then
Yep,
can be worth it. This is definitely the least bomby bomb of the bombs we've listed so far. It's the most like
agreed.
fair bomb.
Agreed.
On to the rares. To the point. Assassin warrior attack reaction. 2 block. Target dagger attack gets +3 if their defending hero is marked. Instead it gets +4. This is a great thing to use spare fealty on if you are Fang. Uh, it is also just a acceptable attack reaction if you are warrior. I think it's definitely a better Fang card than Arachne card, um, but it's a solid rate attack reaction, so it's got to be because attack reactions are really strong.
Yep.
Falls off dramatically in non-red versions. Next up, cut from the same cloth. Zero cost. Action 2 defense. Target opposing hero reveals their hand. If an attack reaction is revealed this way, mark them. Your next dagger attack this turn gets +4. Alex gave it an A. I gave it a B because every time I used this card at my pre-release, my opponent did not have any attack reactions in hand.
And
So
that's okay because now you know exactly what they're going to do on your turn,
it's true.
and the card gave you 4 value on your dagger.
Yeah, you're right. Uh,
And
I'll
that's
I'll
why
bump it
it's
to
an
a B
A.
plus. I'll bump it to a B plus, but it's the
You
fail
insult
state.
me, sir. I
Nah,
think I think if you ever
it's
see a red
Sonata
blue,
Arcanix by any other name, right? No, it's a solid card. It's a 2 block, and the mark can miss. At which point it's just not stellar, um, but when it works, it's great, and information is very valuable. Either way. Um, Next up, we have Incision, a attack reaction, 0 cost, 3 block. Target dagger attack gets +3. Plain and simple. I think the first like copy or two of this, either class is pretty good. We both gave it B's. Um, it's an excellent candidate for spare fealty. It's an excellent candidate as your second reaction when you're trying to make a on hit mark them kind of thing connect, or if you're trying to hit a marked hero to get another fealty. The rate on reaction is just great.
and
Um,
blocks 3.
and it blocks 3, so it is also tolerable in blue as well. Uh, B's across the board, maybe a B plus. Uh, Next up, Scar Tissue. 2 block attack reaction for Assassin or Warrior, cost 0. Target dagger, attack gets +3, and when this hits a hero, them. Uh, Very similar score to Incision. Marking on a reaction, reaction speed is really good because usually do reactions to break block parity and make something connect. So this is sort of like the stealth attacks that Alex was pretty high on before that um, would continue having your opponent be marked. This just does that on a reaction instead of an attack.
Yeah, I think this is great in both Arachne and Fang. Fang, you want to be marking them so that you can get your fealty going, and Arachne, you get to swing your dagger and then react on top of it and give it on hit mark. That way you don't then have to break that dagger, so you get to run one less retrieve card and worry about retrieving your daggers, but you still get the on hit that you wanted.
Uh, then much less impressive than the previous two, we have Take a Stab, which is another 2 block attack reaction. Target dagger gets +3. When this hits a marked hero, you may attack with it an additional time. Um, Least relevant effect with one of these +3s, and it's a 2 block, so pass. I gave it a C minus. Alex gave it a C. +3 at reaction speed is still just always pretty good, but it's definitely very likely the worst 0 for 3 reaction in the set, off the top of my head.
Yep, I'd agree.
Yep. Uh, then last in this hybrid section, we're almost to the generics. We're almost through this. If we're getting so close to balloons time, Den of the Spider, Assassin Warrior defense reaction trap 3 defense 0 cost. When this defends an attack with power greater than its base, mark the attacking hero. Uh, there are tons of things that increase power. This is probably worst against Ninja. I think they do the least amount of like power buffing
Yeah.
off the top of my head. So this is probably this is not the best. This is like, but it's still a 3 block defense reaction, which means it has value. And into 2/3 of your potential opponents, marking defensively is just really strong. A's across the board, very Pac-1 pickable. Great value altogether. Probably A minus, just because there's the other A's are better than Den of the Spider. All right, moving to generics finally. This will go pretty quick. Be done. We've got the Blade Beckoner cycle, which is A, dope name, B, I love the art style on them. The equipment cycles in this all have phenomenal art. That's the biggest tragedy about the Draconic cycle, is the art on them might be the best of the cycle in this set, but they're like the least playable outside of Limited, and honestly, arguably least playable even in the set of Limited. So Blade Beckoner equipment all has guard well and 1 base defense, and then each of them uh, has the text. This gets +1 defensive value while defending a weapon attack. So if you put a Blade Beckoner equipment in front of a Fang dagger, you're blocking 1 on 1. Or sorry, you were blocking 2 on 1. I knew that. I wasn't gonna lie to you this time. Um, yeah, you're blocking 2 on 1, which is good when they react and turn it to 2. So it's sort of like a good safety valve, even if they have one of those like, oh, I'm playing a Draconic instant instead of actually reacting and buffing the power further. Very easy to get 2 defensive value out of these. The alternative usage is you can put Blade Beckoner boots and a 1 defense guard well to cover a breakpoint on like a 0 for 4. Um, and then after it guards well, it gets a -1 counter on it, so base of 0. Then in the future, the next time there's a weapon swing coming in, you can put Blade Beckoner boots in front of it again. It gets +1 while defending a weapon attack, so it negates the minus and goes back to 1 defense. So it's just a very versatile way to get 2 value consistently out of these. Uh, I gave A minuses across the board here, except for the boots, because I think the other boots are just are a lot stronger effect wise than these. And honestly, gauntlets might drop as well because the uh, danger digits are just so much better. But at the same time, like this is equipment that is going to gain you 2 life in every game you play. It will help you block breakpoints at least one time. So very strong.
Also, rare equipment, so you will see it less often than the other equipment. So I think if you see this, you're gonna have to pick
Oh,
it
true.
early.
Yeah, I completely overlooked that, and actually our spreadsheet is off, so we need to change that to reflect that those are rare. Um, then the common generic equipment is Bunker Beard, which this cost me a game in pre-release because again I've been having trouble with my reading comprehension lately. Uh, Bunker Beard is a head slot equipment with no defensive value, but it has a defense reaction. Destroy this, you may add an attack. You may add an action card from your arsenal to the active chain link as a defending card. So if you arsenal any old action, having Bunker Beard in play lets it pretend like you have a defense reaction there, which I think this is pretty decent. I We both gave it C's, but I can definitely imagine a world where the versatility of this card, um, like so it's not gaining you value because so the best thing you get is okay, cool. I had a 3 block in Arsenal and I covered a +3 reaction with my head equipment, but that's 3 value that was on a card anyways that you could have realized a different way. But I think the
Being
way this
able to
card plays
change it
out
to
is going to have a lot of
reaction,
value. Yeah.
yeah, being able to change it to reaction speed is large because your opponent is gonna commit before you have to commit. Um, but I think I would rather have the I would rather have the leapfrog over this. I would also rather have the blade beckoner over this. Um,
I concur. It's
maybe
just,
the comic one.
I mean, honestly though, that's
I'm
just a
not
good
sure.
sign. It means you're kind of spoiled for very reasonable choices in the head
Yep.
equipment slot then, which is
Yep.
a good problem to have. And honestly, it lets you sort of deprioritize picking some of them because there's so many respectable options for it that you can put it off a
Mhm.
little longer. All right. The most obvious bomb card that we could show you that you just see it and you take it because it's crazy, even in constructed. Shelter
Yep.
from the Storm,
Also worth a lot of money. So
also worth a shit ton of money, a ridiculous amount of money, some might say. I'm very excited for the set to continue being open for a while and the prices on this to fall back to earth. Um, but yeah, Shelter from the Storm for a defense reaction for 4 is great constructed rate, so it's obviously spectacular limited rate, and then the discard it to prevent 3 instances of damage is really good because there's so many daggers flying around. So uh,
yep.
pack one, pick one a bowl. You see it, you take it. You have to be yeah. I can't imagine not taking this out of a pack. I think unless there's like a majestic and a foil majestic in the same pack, but very
I
very good.
can't think of it. I can't think of anything that I would take over it.
All right. Next up, we've got another critical strike and a wounding blow variant. Pursue to the Edge of Oblivion is a 0 for 4 3 block, and Pursue to the Pits of Despair uh, is a 1 for 5 3 block, and both of them have on hit mark the opposing hero. Um, Solid, plays a key role. They're 3 blocks. We both gave both of them Bs because they just kind of fit and they do a thing you want to do. Um, but you know, don't necessarily want to take them pack one pick one territory. Sound the
Or
alarm.
if you're trying to stay open, then you could
True,
try
yeah.
to stay
Bonus
wide open.
bonus value for being generic, being open. Sound the alarm is another critical strike variant. 1 for 5 3 block generic attack action. When this attacks a hero, they reveal their hand. If an attack reaction card is revealed this way, you may search your deck for a defense reaction card, reveal it, shuffle it, and put on top. So make sure that your next hand has a defense reaction to counter their attack reaction. Um, really cool constructed applications. It's fine in limited. Gave it C's. It's not gonna be
It's a one
not
for
gonna
five
be
three block.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Definitely a bit more of a constructed toolboxy type card, which I find very neat. Um,
I think it's cool. You can play this in KO, and it turns into a 6, and then you can go search for your one of Reckless Swing.
oh yeah, what are you doing? Closing out the game. Okay. Next up, we have Razor Reflex, tried and true. Only comes in red in the set. Um, plus 3 to a dagger or sword weapon attack. Obviously, there's only daggers in the set. Uh, Arguably more importantly, target attack action card with cost 1 or less gets +3, and if this hits, it gets go again. I gave it a C plus. Alex gave it a B. It's versatile. It's it's strong. Um, Not gonna hate having one of those in most of your decks.
Yeah, this. Yeah, no, it's Razor Reflex. Everybody
Yeah,
knows what's happening here. It's good.
died to so
It's
many
the
Dan
one
Grosfo's
reaction.
Razor Reflex.
Yeah, freaking one ofs. Um, Razor Reflex, I think, is the only uh reaction at not Majestic that Syndra has access to. So if you're trying to think like, oh, what can Syndra do? I think Razor Reflex is the only one that she's got.
That sounds right. Yeah. Next up, a resounding D with Imperial Seal of Command. Generic action item, 0 cost. Legendary. Constructed. Action, destroy this. Defense reaction cards can't be played this turn. If you are royal, the next time you hit a hero this turn, destroy all cards in their arsenal. Go again. The action has go again, but the playing the item itself does not. Um, D's. You don't want this limited. It's very
I think D is generous. I should have given this an F. I
yeah.
just don't. I just don't want this
If
card.
you ever have to like actually play this card in your limited deck, something you're either playing the wrong hero or your draft got train wrecked and you don't have 30 cards without baubles. You might actually play a
I,
bauble over this. I think you play a bauble, cracked bauble over Imperial Seal of Command.
yep, I think so.
Yep, confirmed. Worse than cracked bauble. Okay. Next up we have Calming Breeze, which is a rare card that by itself, this is a rare card. It's only
uh,
half of what Shelter can do.
Skipped one.
Oh, I did. It's okay. We'll do Calming Breeze and I'll come back to it.
Okay.
The next 3 times you would be dealt damage this turn. Prevent one of that damage. Generic instant. 0 cost. Notably only comes in red, but it's sort of the only worthwhile iteration anyways. Um, this is a fine one of. You probably don't want too many of them because it's still no block. Um,
I think it's probably sideboard if you're playing against ninja or assassin, and they're gonna be trying to
yeah.
flip their daggers at you. Put this guy in there and
Yep.
don't let those get those on hits that they were counting on.
Yeah. Um, so solid inclusion for sure. I gave it a B minus. You gave it a B. It is it just goes to show you how strong Shelter of the Storm is. That this is a one of 2 modes on Shelter of the Storm, which is just utterly insane. Um, but anywho, going back 1 card, we have Relentless Pursuit, generic action, 3 block, 0 cost. Mark target opposing hero. If you've attacked them this turn, put this on the bottom of its owner's deck. Um,
Go again.
and go again. Yes. Go again. Uh,
Uh, it's a
uh,
blue block 3, so it it can't be bad.
uh, but yeah, having access to a recurring form of marking can be good. Probably not going to come up terribly often, but it's a fine blue 3 block.
Yep.
And that's all I have to say about that. Um, Another reprint, Sigil of Solace, only in red this time. Similar to Arcane Polarity and the other life gain effects in Rosetta, this is sort of a okay, cool, gain 3 life. In the weird way, I just blocked three. I blocked 3 kunai preemptively. I think this. Yeah, we both gave it B's. It's just solid. It helps deal with evasive damage. I think this is definitely. I'd prefer Sigil of Solace to Calming Breeze. I think the majority of the time. Although there are certainly there's probably enough daggers deal 1 more if they hit. There's probably enough of those that it's kind of a wash. It really is just dependent on how the game played out. But um, Calming Breeze, Sigil of Solace, versatile, useful. You don't want a ton of them, but definitely nice to have.
Yep.
Um, Next up, we have a cycle called Tip Off, which is a attack action 2 block 1 cost attacks for 5, 4, or 3. But as an ability, you can instant speed discard it to mark the opposing hero. This card is very solid in blue. It's acceptable if you're desperate in red. It's bad in yellow. It lets you do some instant speed marking shenanigans that you can sneak extra value in there at times, like a combat trick. But yeah, definitely on the filler end of the spectrum. Um,
I really like the blue one.
yeah, it's definitely best in blue. For the same reason of the stealth card forever ago, talking about assassin things, the blue was the best.
Yep.
All right, and then we have a weird pseudo cycle. It is outed. If you are marked, you can't play this. If the defending hero is marked, this gets +1. Go again. It's a 0 cost attack action. A non-blocking head jab. Uh, but if they're marked, it's a non-blocking 0 for 4 with go again. Uh, this card scares the shit out of me because if you're marked, you can't even play it, and it's a red pitch, and you can't defend with it. Uh, like you'll play this sometimes, and you'll sort of look like a genius, but it feels so risky.
I think I'm nervous to play outed, um, except for in Syndra. Kind of okay. I'd be willing to play in Syndra, just because if I'm marked, I'll just arsenal it. It'll just be my starter next turn. It's kind of okay. Um, but this next card, lay low. Um, I I don't think I'm gonna play it. I don't think I'll ever play it. Which is funny because we were talking about how you just play any defense reaction. Lay low is a yellow 0 cost defense reaction that defends for 3. If you're marked, you cannot play this. If the attacking hero is marked, their next attack this turn gets -1. I don't know, I'm too
Yeah, I
scared.
think this is just the worst D-React in the set.
Yeah, I mean to have if you're marked, you
Can't defend with your
have
defense reaction.
you have a yellow bobble in your hand.
Hmm.
No, thank you. At
Sounds
least
better
the
than
next.
Imperial Seal of Command.
Yeah, you're right. It
Yep.
is. Um,
And
and
then
exposed is a blue 0 cost generic attack reaction that does not block. If you are marked, you cannot play this. Target attack gets +1 and mark the defending hero.
non-block.
Yeah.
So pass.
Um.
Lay low and exposed, we both gave D's.
Yeah, if I'm super strapped for blues, I will take exposed because it can still pitch if you're marked. Um, but I'd rather take something that blocks.
Yeah. All right, and then we have a mono blue cycle of belittle-ish themed things. Uh, Put in context. Blue generic defense reaction blocks 3. This can only defend an attack with 3 or less base power. I gave it a B. Alex gave it an A. I'm a little like obviously there's not a truckload of bigger attacks and there's plenty of smaller ones, but I'm just really afraid of the situation where I have this blue in hand and they're just like, cool, I like attacked, and then end on the only 2 for 6 in the set, and you just have this card in hand that just cannot block it at all. Um, it's still pretty good. It's a blue block 3. Arson lets you arsenal a reaction speed thing, which is good. Um, but I'm a little scared of it situationally. But the
Uh,
upside's
I'm
there.
I'm not scared of this one. The It being blue is cool. Uh, very it being a block 3 defense reaction at blue is amazing, and I'd say probably 80 to 90% of the cards um, in the set are base 3 power or less.
Yeah, true,
So
true.
um, I'll take that risk.
Yeah. All right. Continuing our blue 3 block theme, we have Nip at the Heels. Generic attack reaction block. 0 cost. Target attack with 3 or less base power gets +1. Um, this is like just a really dope lunging press because it blocks 3. Uh,
Yeah, and the
yeah,
art has the guy has 2 left feet. It's really funny.
that's pretty good. Yeah, there's gonna be pirates in this game eventually. It's just clearly happening soon. Um, yeah, we gave Nip at the Heels C, just blue block 3, and then Trot Along, blue block 3, 0 cost generic action. Your next attack with 3 or less base power this turn gets Go Again. Go Again. This card is dope for Hatchet Story. Very excited about that. Uh, it is an acceptable card in this limited format, but not spectacular. So another pair of C's for this one. Uh,
Yep.
and then, last but not least, we have a cycle, Public Bounty. Uh, Generic action, 2 block, 1 cost. Mark target opposing hero. The next time you attack a marked hero this turn, the attack gets +3. Go again. This was like one of my early front runners for just an extremely pack one pick oneable card. Everybody to varying degrees wants to mark people. Uh, a come to fight buff is just uh, solid all around. 2 block is rough, but it keeps you fully open to end up drafting whatever to draft. I gave it a B plus. You gave it a B. It's
Yep.
solid. Everybody wants it. Falls off somewhat dramatically, but like the blue is tolerable if you need blues because the utility of
Yep.
marking them when you need it is still there. But
Yeah, the unconditional mark definitely gives it some points.
sure. And that's it. Balloons. You've made it to the end. We're the okay, so obviously we're over 3 hours total, but we're below 3 hours on the part that we're actually spending on the set review. Um, we
Whatever's
didn't,
gonna
we,
help you sleep tonight, Kevin.
huh?
Whatever's gonna help you sleep tonight.
Yeah. Nothing. I'm gonna go hang out with a baby after this that I can
Yeah.
hear crying a little bit in the other room. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for our hunted limited set review. As always, balloons. You gotta comment balloons on videos when you make it all the
If
way
you
to
made
the
it all
end.
the way to the end.
If you know, you know. Um, Watch Calling Memphis this weekend. It's gonna be neat. See some crazy stuff. We're not gonna see any Zephyr needles, thank goodness. Um, we will be back with more episodes soon. We might have a makeup episode, given that this is only one episode in January. I'm trying to do every 2 weeks, but that remains to be seen. Uh, the Hunted looks pretty sweet. I really want to play Dowson Runeblood because the card's dope. Get Warmongers out of here. I'm really tired. I'm gonna go hang out with a baby. Anything
Let us
before we sign off,
know.
Alex?
Yeah, let us know what you would like from us more in 2025, or deck techs, more just episodes, or more structured. Here's how you play better Let us know what you want.
Faux show. Hit us up in the comments. But all right. Thanks for hanging out as always. For hope you made it to the end. But yeah, IP3 signing off. We will see you next time.